Phew. Okay, y'all. So I am, welcome. I am so frustrated. Like, I don't know what was going on. We were supposed to start this live a while ago, and I got on StreamYard and I started getting error messages. I almost feel like, are they being, because I've been watching other lives from earlier today, and I saw that in the other lives, like there was some weird stuff happening in their lives too. Like one of the lives I was like on catching up on the Diddy case, it was lagging. There was like interference. And then earlier today, my internet, so I don't know. I feel like this is kind of connected. I don't know if y'all remember earlier this year, the whole thing that started happening with the planes. I feel like this is all connected to that because I just think it's so strange. Hi, Freedom 33. Thank you. I just think it's so weird and it frustrates me. Like it takes so much for me to be retain my patience, when it comes to this thing. And then StreamYard doesn't even have a phone number. I was gonna call them. They didn't have a phone number that I could find. Anyways, y'all, so let me see. Let's start with this because I want your browser has logged your screen. What is it talking about now? Like, I might have to like play around with different softwares because I'm not going to be able to put up with this nonsense for very long. Okay, y'all. So let's start with this. I wanted to okay, y'all. This is going to be a part of our intro because this is hilarious. Okay. When I saw this, I was like, this is definitely going to be a good part of the intro. So let me see. Because I know that y'all have to hear. So let me set that up here for the hearing so you guys can hear it on your end. Okay. So let me see here. This is insane. So when y'all watch this, tell me what you see. I hate to be like, oh my God, I hate to feel like an instigator, but seriously, we're going to take a look at the comment section because it wasn't just me. It literally wasn't just me because sometimes you start thinking about, okay, like you're just overly paranoid. We all already know that. But I'm like, I literally, even in the comment section, y'all, it wasn't just me. It's insane. So y'all tell me what you see in this video because I don't even have the words. Okay, let me see. Hold on. Oh, I clicked on something else by accident. Okay. Oh, goodness. And I just had to, I'm going to play it again because I don't know if y'all can y'all hear it okay? Let me see. Okay. Because these so for real, gay, right, Trisha? That's what I said. I was like, I feel like the first thing that came to my mind is like, they're gay, obviously. It looks like a lover squirrel. I even feel like maybe one of them like has a boyfriend. One of them's the boyfriend and caught the other one cheating. Gay was the first thing, because I swear I always have to catch myself because I'm always like, you know that you're already hyper on the lookout, right? But I'm like, there's no way. That just looks so gay to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see. There's some comments, and I went straight to the comment section because the comments agreed with me. I don't know. Were y'all able to hear that? Okay. Something's up with YouTube. I don't know what is going on with YouTube. But okay, let me share my screen so we can look at the comments because it was insane. Let me see here. Oh, okay, good. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, good. All right, so this is giving gay relationship vibes. I don't know what it is. And so thanks for everyone that's starting to join in. We're still doing the intro. We looked at like a super funny video here. Y'all, this is so gay. What is What is this? They're like making out. They're like making y'all. Okay. Anyways, we have to start the intro like this because one of the things that I'm always saying is stay away from the male species. There's too much proof out here. I don't even have to do anything to come across like degenerate behavior from the male species. When I saw this, my jaw was to the ground. Like, what are they doing? Like, and I'm like, they proved me right once again, y'all. Once again. And I thought, I'm going to play this in the intro to my live to see if anyone is, I like, before even saying what I think, to see what anyone else is seeing. Yeah, disgusting. Anyways, you guys, so let's, for today, we're going to talk about a few things. There's a few things I want to cover today. The wizard list situation, we're going to cover that because I feel like it brought up a lot of thoughts in my mind, especially when it comes to like the whole situation where women don't listen to other women. You could literally warn another woman that her male is cheating or her male is doing XYZ, and she won't listen to you. And even worse, she'll turn around and probably blame you. Right. And this is something that I say all the time. And I kind of feel like this is proof of that. So we're going to take a look at the most up-to-date stuff on the wizard list situation. And we're going to take a look at Diddy's meltdown. It was so weird. I took out the word Diddy from the video title. And that was the only way that it let me go on live. Now, I don't try to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's like when they're not even trying to hide it, y'all. So I'm going to have to replace the word Diddy after the live. I'm still going to put it on there, but that's what I did. And it finally let me go on the live. Yeah. Freedom says it's very obvious. First thing I thought, isn't it? Y'all, like, what were the vibes? Was it just like vibes? Or because immediately I was like, those are some gay males right there. They're literally fighting. I think one of them caught the other one cheating. And then if you hear the insults, like one of them was like, you gay. And I'm like, you're all gay. Like literally, like this is insane. Maybe it's the level of emotion, all of that emotion. And, like, what do you have to feel that strongly about towards someone that you're not sleeping with? I don't know, but it just gave me completely gay vibes. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the latest update from the Dusty Diddy case, the Dusty Diddy trial. And then one of the things that I wanted to cover today was the truth about males and why males tend to not come to therapy. Because this is something that I've been noticing for a few years now. And every time it's like the same thing, just a different male, right? The same thing, just a different male. And when I look it up, when I look on YouTube about this topic with males going to therapy or going to go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, I don't see what I feel like is accurate information. It's almost like diluted information that's like meant to just cuddle the males. And I'm assuming that it's probably because a lot of that information is males, like it's other males doing videos on nonsense. Like a lot of the stuff that I found on this topic, they're all pretty much saying the same thing. Oh, it's because, therapy isn't really made for males. It's mostly made for women. Oh, it's because there aren't any specific strategies targeted towards males. It's mostly like women that respond better to those strategies. It's very similar to the arguments they try to make when it comes to like school and why males are not performing in school. It's almost identical. The same argument they try to make when it comes to males and the males' underperformance in school, right? So I don't see anything that's very honest online when it comes to that topic. And I just don't understand how I just feel like the human race doesn't stand a chance if they continue to just lie like this. I'm not understanding where as a race we think we're going. Because the males are just continuing to devolve and devolve and devolve, and that's not going to change. And all these decades, all these years, no one's addressing the truth of the situation, So I feel like, okay, let's talk about that a little bit, because it's insane when y'all hear the reason why, based off of what I've seen over the years, over and over again, why males typically tend to not come to counseling. It's wild. Like I don't feel like it's something that you would expect it to be, right? So anyways, I think we're going to start with the wizard, Liz. I think that's good as far as an intro. I didn't have anything too much. The main thing that I had for the intro was this video, because look how gay these males are. Tell me that you're attracted to this. Tell me you're still attracted to the male species when you see this. Like, how can you be attracted to a species that goes around doing this? Like, it's just not possible to me. Like, that's not possible. Let me see. And everyone caught on to it. What the heck? Flaming. Totally flaming. This is giving gay relationship vibes. Yes, it is. All right, y'all, let's start with the wizard, Liz, and then kind of work our way from there. But oh my God, I just can't even get this out of my mind. Like, the males are just so unattractive. Every day, it doesn't even take me anything to to find backup for the things that I come on live saying. It's like, what's that supposed to be? Disgusting. Sorry, not sorry, but very unattractive. Okay, let's see here.
Guys, what the hell is going on?
So let's start with the Wizard Liz, because the Wizard Liz situation, y'all. So if just to kind of like give a brief overview of like the Wizard Liz situation. Wizard Liz is a super famous influencer. She now has, I think her following has gone up since this whole scandal. She was at 7 million on YouTube, and now she's at, I think she's at like around 8 or 9 million on YouTube alone. Okay. And she is this coach. I didn't know. Fun fact, she's 24 years old. Okay. So this is a 24-year-old that's trying to coach other women on how to navigate relationships, how to navigate males, what to do as far as how to deal with males. A whole 24-year-old. Okay. Now, this same 24-year-old has gotten herself pregnant. Okay. So she's now pregnant with the kid of a male that cheated on her while she was pregnant. This is where we're at. This is kind of like the general synopsis of the situation. And it's a big deal with that amount of followers. I mean, I think she definitely has like tens of followers on Instagram alone. And then on YouTube, she's sitting at 8 to 9 million followers on YouTube alone. So this was a big deal, right? This whole Wizard Liz was a big deal, especially because she's a coach. So she's supposedly an expert in coaching women on how to get over breakups, how to deal with the male species, how to be self-confident and not be used by a male, not how to not be male-centered. Now we find out that on top of the fact that she's a 24-year-old, she just got herself pregnant at 24 with a male that was cheating on her the whole time while she was pregnant. Okay. Insane. I think that's a big L. That's like the big, I can't, I mean, I guess I can, but I can't, it's hard to imagine a bigger loss, a bigger L than this one, right? Internet was going crazy. Now, part two, okay, turns out, y'all, that the ex-girlfriend, this chick's ex-girlfriend, this 24, 25-year-old's the ex-girlfriend of her ex. So many exes, yeah. It just makes me happy to be single. Every time I see these horror stories, I'm like, okay, I'm very, very glad that I'm not involved with that, because this is insane. So her ex, the male that cheated on her, has another ex that he went out with prior to her. Okay. Now, this ex came out of the woodworks. Okay. This ex, prior to the Wizard Liz, came out of the woodworks and started outing this male. She made some pretty insane accusations. Okay. Some of the things that she was saying is she reached out to this Wizard Liz person, this 25-year-old. She reached out to her when she first started dating that male. She reached out to her via Instagram, and she has receipts, trying to warn her that, hey, that's my ex, that male is my ex, and he was physically abusive towards me. I'm just trying to warn you that he can get physically abusive, and he cheated on me the whole time that we were in a relationship. She typed this whole thing out on Instagram and showed the receipts. Okay. Then she's also claiming that this male is actually physically abusive as well. So I said, isn't that interesting? Because the live that I did on this situation about the Wizard Liz situation. What was one of the things that I said? I stopped in the middle of that live during his apology, and I said, this guy seems dangerous to me, because it's not typical normal behavior to not be able to show any expression, any emotional expression physically, but then your words are all emotionally tied, right? It was weird. And I immediately knew. I was like, I even said it specifically. I said, this guy is actually more dangerous than the typical predator. He's more dangerous than just a regular dude. This is like a complete psychopath, right? This is a really dangerous individual. It's not normal. It's weird. So turns out, here we are. Now this ex has come out saying that he was physically abusive towards her, cheated on her during the whole time that they were together. Also got her pregnant too. Okay. But she ended up aborting her child. She ended up deciding to not move forward with her pregnancy, right? It's a lot. So she's been claiming all these things and saying that she told the Wizard Liz, this supposed coach, right, sent a message to the Wizard Liz. I don't make the news and the drama. The drama and the news makes itself, and I'm just delivering the message, the messenger, right? Because I know the Wizard Liz, she has a lot of youngins supporters that go really, really hard for her. Okay. This is what the news are saying. So she reached out apparently to the Wizard Liz via Instagram. And guess what, y'all? The Wizard Liz completely ignored her, did not respond to her, even went as far as insinuating that, of course, there's going to be other women that come out of the woodworks because they're like jealous or whatever ulterior motives that they probably have. So she ignored this woman completely. And one of the things that we talked about in the previous live is how this male made her a book. They hadn't even been together 6 months, and this male species that she was dating, the Wizard Liz was dating, made a whole book with their picture saying, "Oh, I love you" in it. And I remember distinctly in my last live on this topic saying, that's incredibly creepy. That's a psychopath, right? Turns out he did the same thing with the previous girl that he was dating, this ex that's come out to speak on it. Turns out he did the same thing with her. Made her a whole book, wrote her poems, wrote her letters. Y'all, I'm just like, this is just crazy at this point. This is crazy. That's why last night in the live that I did yesterday, I said, you can't help a woman that doesn't want to help herself. Okay, you're just going to end up throwing yourself in the crossfire and stressing yourself out. It's unfortunate, but it's just the truth, because women will ask for help. They'll ask for support. They'll ask for they want the energy. They want other women's energy, but then they don't listen. Then they insult other women. Then they do this, then they do that. It's like, I already know, look, you're not going to listen anyway. So most of the time I don't bother. You listen or you don't. Hi, Guilty Angel. Thanks for joining. Missed you, Guilty Angel. We missed you yesterday. So I'm glad that you're able to join today. I don't think you were able to join yesterday. So I'm glad you're able to join. Despite her beautiful face, she's a pygmy. Yeah. It's such a shame. Gorgeous. I'm saying, oh, what? It's so annoying. I know. It's been busy, Guilty Angel, for sure. I'm glad you're able to join us today. We're excited to have you. So, gorgeous as can be. It's always the best looking women. I swear. I just don't understand. Like, it makes me like, I don't want to be too harsh, but it makes me hate this world so much more, because it's like, what kind of world is this, right? Gorgeous as like, gorgeous. Like this wizard Liz, like beautiful, young, like young energy, everything. And now this is where we're at. And we can't even say that this is a loss only for her. This is like a colossal L for all of us, all women, because she has such a big following, like, so we all end up looking wild, right? Hi, Jean. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, Jean. Looney28, hi. I don't remember if I said hi, Looney28. I like to do it just in case. Trisha, thanks for joining. Yeah, super gay. Agreed. All right. So this was like an L for all of us, right? Now, I will say the ladies have been doing well holding the front, like as far as, I mean, that male got demolished. I mean, demolished. Y'all, why am I so into, like, I don't want to say I'm into drama, but kind of, like, this male got demolished. Like, you should see his comments section. You should see like all this, like the ladies are, I thought I was mean. I thought I was harsh, and I'm quickly finding out no. No, that's nothing, right? Hi, Religion Free. How are you? Any man claiming to be in love after a couple of months is lying. Yeah, he was claiming to love her. Wasn't claiming it after a couple of months. The last live where we covered this psychopath said I love you to her like 3 days. It was like a few days in. It wasn't even like, I don't even think they had gone a few weeks. He was like, yeah, I just knew that same day. Lying, a complete psycho, right? If any man, exactly, Religion Free, if any man claims to love you within a few days, within a few months, run, because you don't even know that person. Like, so what are you really in love with if you're actually, first of all, I say this all the 36 hours. Yes. In 36 hours, he then started claiming that he loved her. It literally took him 36 hours. Sometimes I feel bad for coming on here and looking like I enjoy the drama, but it's not my fault. I can't believe what's happening in front of me. I'm just like, I canceled Netflix, canceled Amazon, and I just canceled it. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with you, Netflix. I'm done with you, Amazon. We're breaking up. I can't do this anymore, right? I can't with your abuse, Netflix. I can't with your abuse, Amazon. I'm gone. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to watch. I don't know what books I'm going to read, but I'm gone, right? And then this happens immediately after. So ladies, here's the takeaway from that. Right? Don't be scared to leave. A lot of women are always scared to leave relationships that they're not happy in. They're scared to leave the male species. They're scared to go and just do better and choose themselves, because a lot of women might feel like they're not going to be able to find anything better. Just do it. Choose yourself first and just leave. Even in the smallest things, y'all, I was kind of like, dang, what am I going to do for entertainment if I'm breaking up with Netflix and I'm breaking up with Amazon? What am I going to do to entertain myself? Y'all, this stimulation is too much. Like, this just, and then all this stuff started happening. Then the Diddy case came through. I'm just like, this is wild. So when one door closes, a million doors open, literally. I know it seems like, what kind of example is this? But seriously, I'm so for real. Like, it's the same thing with males. It works in the exact same way. I just try it, you'll see, right? But you have to truly be free. You can't just like pretend like you're free, literally. And you'll start finding other things left, right, center, right? Yeah. Love at first sight is exactly, it's a fantasy. There's no such thing as love at first sight. Let me tell you who started that lie. Well, we know who started it. Let me tell you why they started it, right? Love at first sight, the patriarchy started that lie a couple of decades ago because they were having issues with the whole procreating thing. Women tend to want to go for higher, right? Women left to their own devices, most women, most of us are not going to choose to go with like a male that doesn't have anything to offer. Okay. So, in order to kind of ramp up this procreation aspect, they came up with the whole concept of love. They made it up. They made it up. Up until like, I think 30 or 40 years ago, y'all, the love, they literally viewed love. Love was literally viewed as something like a curse. Like society was scared of love, like because of the emotions. They didn't really know the science behind it, but what they did know was, well, it causes you to act irrationally. So society as a whole actually did not really like the whole concept of love because they felt like it was illogical, irrational. This is just a little bit about history. Okay. As the broke males continue to have less and less access to women, then they have to come up with something else in order to help them gain access to women, especially because most males do not have money and they don't have resources. So they made up this whole concept of marrying for love, being in a relationship for love, falling in love. And if you think about it, it doesn't make sense because you're not supposed to fall into jack squat. I'm not falling into anything. Like if you fall into something, you're literally falling face down and you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. If you're wanting to love, you're supposed to try to grow in love. So any male that's like, "Oh, I love you," within a month, within 36 hours is not only a liar, y'all, that male is a complete demon. To me, I'm kind of dramatic. But I believe the stuff that I actually believe it. I feel like that's demonic energy. That's demonic energy because why would you be saying stuff like that to me if you're not trying to assume me? Why would you be saying stuff like that if you're not trying to like prep me for some type of assume or degenerate behavior? It doesn't make sense because you can't know who somebody is in 36 hours. You can't know who somebody is in 6 months. You can't even know who somebody is in a year. You barely have enough information to try to figure out, okay, do I like this person enough to where I can label that as love? But you don't even then you don't know everything or that much about that person. You know a good amount, but not that much, you know? So it's like the males just lie and lie and lie. Anyways, back to this whole Wizard Liz situation. It's insane. It's insane. Wizard Liz youngins, don't come after me. I do not make the news, I swear. It's just as insane to me as it is to y'all. I'm just reporting it, you know. And then I love making these because you already know I'm going to come to the next live and I'm going to be like, well, remember when I specifically told you not to do that? Remember, I'm definitely doing it. That's me right there. Okay. So I literally said in my last live, there's proof in everything. Proof in everything, right? I said, he's a psycho. Look at the body language. It makes no sense. This male is actually more dangerous than the regular males. Come to find out, the ex has now come out and told us that this male was physically aggressive with her, told us that he wrote her letters. He even made a book for her too, right? Told us that he got her pregnant and she chose not to move forward with that pregnancy. Told us that he cheated on her the entire time that they were together. Told us that they were on and off, and then showed receipts, y'all. I still feel bad for looking like I'm enjoying the drama, but it's not that I'm enjoying it. It's just so crazy. It's wild. I can't believe what's happening, right? And then told us that like she tried to break up with him and he stalked her. I forgot about that part. She even said that this guy stalked her too. Because when she tried to break up with him and she was seeing a therapist, somehow he found out who her therapist was and decided to start seeing her therapist. She even said something like he would show up, he was sending text messages because he was trying to get back together with her or whatever. Basically saying, yeah, he stalked me too. Child. Okay. So what we're about to watch right now, this is, y'all, even before this came out, tell me why, help me understand this. Help me understand why the wizard Liz was sitting there defending this degenerate male species. After he's been exposed for cheating on her while she was pregnant, for being a degenerate male, tell me why this 24 or 25, I don't want to get that wrong, I think she's 24 years old. Let me know if you know the exact age, if that's incorrect, so that I can correct it while I'm on live. But I think I saw 24 years old. Tell me why she came out defending this degenerate male species. I can't make this stuff up. I cannot make this stuff up. So now everyone's like, she's canceled. Well, we all know you're the only one that can cancel yourself, right? And she has too big of a following for her to actually be canceled. Like, her following is too massive, you know? But basically, she did get some whiplash for exhibiting this behavior and defending this degenerate male species, y'all. She did get some whiplash for that. So everyone is going around saying she's canceled, because imagine your entire following feels for you. They feel bad for you. They're supporting you, and you are supporting a male. That's how you pay us back. This is why I'm saying, like, a matriarchy, I don't see that working. Sue me. Well, no, don't sue me. But I just don't see it working. There's too many women that are like this. And the thing about women is you tell them, you can warn them, they won't listen to you. Right? They just won't listen to you. And then on top of not listening to you, they might insult you. A lot of times they just start insulting you to the point where you're just like, look, just leave her alone. Let her figure it out. I'm on to the next thing. Right? So the wizard Liz, like, everyone's trying to like support her and defend her. And she doesn't even understand or it's like she doesn't care that, look, the mass of your following are all women. Okay. So this behavior, I'm not saying she chose it, but regardless of whether she chose it or not, she's a pretty big representation, right? For women, females in general. Okay. So this L makes us all look pretty bad now, doesn't it? Okay. And I feel like not even taking that into consideration as far as like, look, you've built this following and stuff. Maybe you didn't choose it, because I don't know that I would choose to have 7 million followers. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of pressure, right? But still, this is the position that you're in right now. And you don't even care about that. You haven't even thought about that. You just keep embarrassing us. It's an embarrassment because you're a coach. You're supposed to be coaching women, coaching the ladies on how to not fall for these very, very basic traps. And you fell for a male telling you that he loves you within 36 hours. You fell for that. You fell for a male saying he was just gravitating towards you in the airport. Something was pulling him towards you, and you didn't call him a psycho right then and there. I would have been sweating bullets. I would have been sweating a bullet, because Are you a demon? Are you possessed? What's pulling you? Because I have a mask on, I have a hat on in a completely random like airport or whatever, and you're talking about something that's pulling you? Probably possessed by the same demon that Dusty Diddy is possessed by, literally. Literally, because they're all possessed. It's demonic behavior, y'all. And you didn't tell this male to piss off. Like, what? She may redeem herself when the kid is 10. Yeah. On top, to add insult to injury, y'all, this is my disappointment. Might not be a lot of people's, but I am disappointed that it's a male. She's given birth to a male species. She's literally birthing a male. Can you imagine? It's like the worst situation on top of the worst situation on top of the worst situation, y'all. So, on top of everything else, she's giving birth to a male species, literally undermining all the work that we're trying to do. We don't want more of these males coming here, no offense. Okay. There's so many of them. Look at the chaos and destruction here, right? So, to me, that makes it even worse. And then duplicating these genes, y'all, it's a lot. So let's take a look here at this first video, because this one is going to be, it's going to talk about her getting canceled. It's going to talk about her getting canceled, you know? Yeah, I feel like women that give birth to males are male-centered. Just, you know what, freedom? I've been thinking so hard about that, because I feel like there's something to it. Women that give birth to primarily women, primarily girls, versus women that give birth to males. And you see, this is y'all keep me coming back on this live, because it's like literally, you know, I feel like women that end up giving birth to males are male-centered. And I feel like the women that end up primarily with children that are girls, are probably a lot of times women that are more connected to either themselves, nature. They have a deeper connection, right? They're more whole. That's what I've been noticing most of the time. So whenever a woman tells me that she has like sons, to me, I start feeling like, ooh, there's probably something there, because I almost feel like the universe, this is how the universe has it worked out. You know, it seems to me like women that are more male-centered, women that don't really have they are not connected with themselves and their own identities, are the ones that end up bringing more males here. And I also feel like you can see the proof, right? You can see what these males are like today. You can see what they're like today, right? You can, it's here. Over 90% of these males are gay. They put hands on women. They beat women. They have super, super weird relationships with their moms. Epically the cringe and the creepiness of like the incest vibes is insane with some of these males, right? And then a lot of them just go out looking to duplicate their mom. So their ideal type from a subconscious level literally is their mom, y'all. So I feel like the ones that give birth to males, I'm not trying to say that like the women that give birth to girls are better or more, you know, the women that give birth to women are more whole, in my opinion. They are more blessed, right? They're more favored by the universe, in my opinion. A lot of times, most times, in the 90th percentile of times. You know, that doesn't make them good parents or anything. I'm just saying, like, there's something about it. Maybe their ancestors did the work or something. But because the ones that give birth to males, I've noticed like a lot of those women tend to be lost. They tend to be creepy. They tend to like baby those males all the time and like give these males all types of complexes to where the males can't even function on their own. The whole thing's weird, you know? So anyways, y'all, that was insane that you brought that up, because I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago. I was like, what? Like the ones that, I don't know, there's just a difference to me. So anywho, that kind of, I think that's a good transition, y'all. And when in talking about this whole situation, we're just gonna like mix it together, like the topics, right? This whole situation with males that come to therapy. One of the biggest things that I've noticed about why males come to therapy is males will literally most in the 90th percentile of times, males will come to therapy when they've been broken up with by a woman. Most of the time they don't come to therapy on their own. They don't seek out the help of a psychologist on their own. It's not them self-reflecting because they want to, and this is from my very many years of experience, right? This is just what I see, right? The males, as opposed to women that'll come to therapy, even the weak ones, the weaker minded women that'll come to therapy and then drop off, or they're not ready for the change. At least they come because they're like, let me try it. Let me try to do it for myself. Males don't come in the 90th percentile of males. I've never once had a male come into therapy off of his own free will. Every time, I can't think of an exception as of right now. Every time a male has come in, and I've seen a male come in to like for help with their mental health, and most of my clients are women anyway, so it's like super easy, you know, because it's like most males don't look for it. But the males that do come in, always the answer to the question is, well, what brings you here today? What are you trying to do? What's going on? Well, my girlfriend just broke up with me. Well, my wife just asked me for a divorce. It's always a woman. It's always like women led, you know. I've not run into a male till this day that has, off of their own volition, come to therapy because I just want to be a good person. I want to be a better person. No, it's always something to do with a woman, or yeah, I think I'm addicted to sex. And when I messed around with this one girl, that's when I realized that maybe I'm addicted to it. She stopped talking to me or whatever. Y'all, I'm trying to tell you. So males, one of the biggest reasons that they tend to come in or seek any type of medical help, especially mental help, is because some woman somewhere broke up with them, is saying that they don't want to be with them, is saying it's telling him no thank you, something somewhere with a woman. That's what brings them in. Well, the problem with that is they'll come in for like 2-3 appointments max and be right back out. The only exception when I've seen where if they come in and they do more appointments than 2 or 3 appointments is if maybe they're wanting to get married and the woman has a prereq. The woman has a prereq saying, no, I need you to go to therapy because I want you to like work on these things, or I think we should work on ourselves before the wedding or whatever, right? Then they'll stay in for like maybe 4 to 6 weeks, like, or 8 weeks, right? That's the only time. And I've only seen that happen like twice. Okay. All the other times, it's always about some woman somewhere. Yes, their ego. So the way that the ego is connected to that, Freedom 33, is I've noticed that it's usually, like I said, unless it's something that they're trying to do to hook the woman, they are like not gonna, they really just don't care, right? So when the males come into therapy, right, or seek out a psychologist or seek out any type of like medical help, because I talk to my counterparts about this too. It seems like when they seek out any type of like medical help, especially that's mental related, usually it's because they've taken a hit on their ego by a woman. Right. So if she breaks up with him, that's hitting on their ego because she broke up with him. Deuces. Right. If she is saying things like, yeah, I don't know, this is just not working for me or whatever. So So usually they'll come because of that hit to their ego, right? And also they're trying to hook the prey again. So most of the time the woman is still in the picture. She hasn't done a clean break. I've also noticed that too. There was like a little while ago, I think it was like a good example. Who's logging into my Crunchyroll? There's a new device logged into the Crunchyroll account. Who logged into the Crunchyroll? They're going to be watching all types of ads on the Crunchyroll. Okay, so there's this story, y'all. This male came in and I was like, okay, so what's going on? Tell me a little bit more, right? He had not the audacity, but one of the things he said, this was like a long time ago. What he said was, well, my girlfriend wants to take a break. We are currently separated. I don't want us to be separated. I don't want us to take a break or whatever, but she feels like she needs the time and space to think. She wants us to work on ourselves, which is what brings me here today, right? And so then I ask a few more questions, and turns out that this male, I asked a few more questions and he said to me, yeah, I guess there was a lot that I was having her do, but it's not like I forced her to do any of these things, right? I'm doing my practicum, I'm doing my clinicals. So right now I don't have a car, he says. He says, right now I don't have a car because I'm in school, I'm doing my clinicals, so I don't have a car. So it's been harder for us to see each other. So I told her, well, if you want to drive, then you can just be the one that drives to see me. So this girl that just broke up with this degenerate male, right, was doing all the driving to go see him 2 to 3 times a week. He was staying at her place, eating her food, using her gas. She was driving him around at least 2 to 3 times a week every time they would spend time together. Okay. She was paying for dates because he would make the excuse, oh, I don't have any money, I don't have this, I don't have that, right? So she was over there paying for dates, y'all. Right? And so, and then the degenerate has the audacity to come and say, I don't understand what happened. It was out of nowhere. Y'all, it was all in the same hour. I'm telling you, this is how males think. I don't understand where it came from. She didn't communicate with me. She doesn't communicate. So how was I supposed to know? Saying that basically, after telling me all this, still making it seem like, okay, it's her fault for not communicating, right? So I told, we don't, we're not going to lie, right? So I told him, I said, okay, well, with everything that you've told me, this is, what word did I use? Excessive. I said, with everything you've told me, this is excessive. Okay. That's a lot. Like that this is excessive because it's excessive. She's the one driving. You're eating all her food. You're spending the couple of nights at her place. You're not paying for dates. That's excessive, right? So all that to say, y'all, males do not like going. He didn't like hearing that. That's all. That's literally all I said, because he has to be able to confront himself. When you come, you got to be able to look at yourself and figure out what's going on there. So that's excessive. We're going to have to figure out why you felt so comfortable allowing that behavior to continue, whether or not she was okay with it. You can't blame her and say, oh, she was okay with it, that's why. No. Like, she's going to have to work that out herself, right? As far as why she would even allow such a thing to occur. You, though, don't get a pass because of that, because this is excessive. This is like, you felt comfortable completely letting her do all these things while you did nothing but take. We got to figure out why. We got to figure out what's going on there, right? Did not like hearing that, right? So males will only come to therapy to see if they can get someone on their side so that they can go back to the woman and say, well, you see, you're the crazy one, right? Or to see if they can get more ammunition, right, to hook the prey again, right? This is why I'm saying most males don't go to therapy. It's not because of the work. It's not because of like, oh, it's not tailored towards males. It's not that. It's because males are predators by nature. Okay. They're not interested in working on themselves. They're not interested in working on the emotions. They're not interested in working on any of these things, right? They're really just interested in the prey, which most of the time is women, which is why they don't even come in. You can't say, oh, this or that about something that you've never even experienced, you never even tried. Most males have never experienced it. Most males have never tried it. How do they know that it wouldn't work for them? Right? So that can't be the reason. It can't be the reason why. From what I've seen, it's because the males are empty vessels. The only way for them to keep that ego intact is women. Ask nature why that is, because it's insane, but that's the truth. That's what happens. The only way for them to keep that ego intact is through women. So unless there's a woman propelling that action for whatever reason, he ain't gonna be there. Okay. And even then, it has to get so bad to where the woman literally leaves, you know. And even then, even if they do it because she left, they'll end up falling off because they didn't do it for themselves to begin with. They were just doing it because of the woman was leaving or whatever. So they end up not really being able to achieve any real long lasting change. We're able to just kind of tweak a few things here and there, potentially. Right now, you got to be careful because a lot of these tactics, the males will go back and use, and they'll use it against you. Especially because women have all of this emotion and stuff. Anyways, y'all, let's go back to like the Wizard Liz situation. But I inserted that. We were going to cover that anyway. So we'll insert it like throughout the live. Works out fine. So we've already covered like a chunk of what we were going to talk about during the live anyway. So it worked out. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Wizard Liz situation. This is totally insane. It's totally wild. I don't understand. It's crazy. Okay.
Why is Liz still defending Landon? I'm scared. I don't know what to believe anymore. So if you haven't heard, Landon's ex, a girl named Abby, came out about like all this stuff about how Landon was super like abusive towards her. If you're not caught up with that, go watch my past 2 videos. But anyways, so Liz just responded to Abby's story and said, guys, I'm getting videos from my friends that Landon's ex just posted a video saying that she had DM'd me before and that I called her. I've never in my life called any woman or been aware of any other woman in our relationship. So she shows evidence of a no-call ID number and claims she recognized me because of my Middle Eastern accent. I am not Middle Eastern. It feels like you're trying to make fun of my accent. Whatever happened between you guys to solve, but don't start lying and making up rumors about me. So maybe that call never happened, but Abby did show proof that she had messaged Liz previously. This is proof from Abby's video, and it shows that she reached out to Liz in November. Now, Liz totally could have just not seen it because Liz is super famous and has a lot
so y'all see, she has the receipts right here. She reached out in November. Hey, honey, I'm Landon's ex. There's some emails you should go through of him spamming me. Okay, y'all, I'm going to read this to you because this is insane. So she sent him like a few different messages. This one says, hey, she sent her a few different messages. This says, hey, honey, I'm Landon's ex. There's some emails you should go through of him spamming me and following me to Europe. Following me to Europe. When I say there's no need for me to make this stuff up because this stuff is already crazy on its own. I told y'all. She was making accusations. Like she was saying like this male stalked me. He was stalking me. Yeah, he was stalking me. He did the exact same thing to me, right? So she goes on to say, there's some emails you should go through of him spamming me and following me all the way to Europe. I dropped my restraining order because he stopped emailing me. She had a restraining order. Y'all, she had a restraining order on this degenerate male species. Okay. When I say predator, I'm not trying to be mean and I'm not trying to scare y'all. It's just that it's literal, it's factual. That's what males are. It's factual. A lot of times they'll even admit it to you depending on the words that you use to describe it to them. Crazy. So I dropped my restraining order because he stopped emailing me, but he was emailing me into August. He was emailing me into August, begging for me to come back after I broke up with him, and he stalked me into Ibiza. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, right? He emailed me on 2 different email accounts to myself. Bruh, this is insane. He emailed me on 2 different email accounts. Okay. I mean, sometimes that happens, I guess. Okay. He emailed me on 2 different email accounts to myself. Just thought you should know. So she's warning this girl, right? Just thought you should know. You also called me on my second phone number after I got back from Europe. I would go through, I think she means he also called me. I think that's what she means. He also called me on my second phone number after I got back from Europe. Okay. I would go through his emails to see. Just trying to help a girl out. Just trying to help a girl out. I'm not trying to start anything, but be careful with that boy. So you see how women don't listen to each other. You see why I always say, like, yeah, it's not possible. This whole matriarchy thing's not going to work out, because the women with these males always think for some reason that they are above other women. That's the problem. You think you're above every other woman, and every other woman wants your despicable, degenerate, disgusting male species. Meanwhile, that's not the case, right? The male is the one that cheats. If he wants to cheat, he's going to do that regardless of whether or not it's this woman or that woman or that woman or that woman. So it's not up to the woman or whether or not she wants your despicable male species. It's just whether or not the male wants to cheat on you, and that's it, right? But the women will blame other women. That's why I don't bother warning women. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I don't bother because they won't listen to you. They'll just ignore you. And then they might even end up insulting you just for trying to tell them. It's like, girl, what? Bye. So the second message that she sent, she says, I'm so sorry. I just heard what happened. If you're up for it, I would love to have a conversation. This would be legendary. If they had a conversation. And y'all, the ex, gorgeous. Okay. This, it's like the best looking women. I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand what's going on here. It's like the best looking women, y'all, that these degenerate predators will target, y'all. So she says, I would love to have this conversation. I was also a victim. Okay. So y'all can see, I'm not making up the story. The story makes itself. The story makes itself. Okay. So she goes on to say, I was also a victim from Landon and we have similar stories. I was a victim from Landon and we have similar stories. Landon got me pregnant as well back in November of the 23rd. I know this is a lot to take in, but it's been a weight on my heart, and I would love to share my story and hopefully give you more details or something like that. You have my number. Okay.
Wait, then Liz says, my friend kept commenting that I never called her or have seen her DMs, and her comments kept getting deleted. I can't understand what your motive is. She also leaked Landon's phone number and email, and people are calling and texting him every second to unalive himself. Okay. I don't want the father of my child to hurt himself. He's already going through it and he's already lost everything. Stop the hate, please. Okay, so I don't necessarily think that it is Abby's fault that Landon is getting these hateful messages, because I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, this man did this to himself. The reason people are sending him hateful messages is because he has been emotionally abusive. And
I mean, what do y'all think? So he's trying to defend She's trying to defend the male species. Oh, well, now he's threatening to unalive himself and you keep sending all this. So she's blaming this other chick, in my opinion, from what it sounds like, right? For this degenerate male being in the situation that he's in. Please stop sending this or stop sending that. Like, what is wrong with these women? Like, the hell is going on here? Like, it's a I'm saying it's a mental illness. It really is. That is a mental illness. Like, you don't know how to process through information. You don't know how to think. You're blaming this other woman for a male threatening to unalive himself. Now all of a sudden he's the victim. Are you well? Y'all, this is insane. This is what I'm saying, y'all. This is crazy.
Physically abusive to multiple people. So I don't really think this is fair to say. This can't really be blamed on anyone except Landon. I'm really trying to move on from this, but now I can't even heal or think about me and the baby because I have to worry about my ex hurting himself. I've never seen any of the girls' DMs about him until Peyton messed with my friend that she found on TikTok. The only reason I found out, when I found out, I immediately left, and I'm trying to move on, do whatever you want to do, but leave me out of this and stop creating false narratives that have never happened. I completely understand Liz wanting to be left out of it, but again, at the end of the day, this girl is just sharing her side of the story, and any of the hate that Landon's been.
So yeah, I mean, this is unfortunate because this tells me that this Liz chick is very male-centered, right? She doesn't give a crap about other women. Meanwhile, her following and the whole reason she's successful is because all these other women and girls are making it so. So, but it's sad to see when the woman doesn't even care. She doesn't even care. Meanwhile, the only reason you're successful is because the women are behind you, following you and propping you up. It's not males that are doing that. The males don't even like you. So she's so male-centered. She's like, well, just leave me out of it. Just leave me out of it. Like, ma'am, is this working? Like, are you well? Like, what is your problem? And then on top of that, blaming everybody else for this degenerate male having a hard time or whatever it is. Like, what? Now I'm starting to see more and more how she fell for something as stupid as someone telling you that they love you within 36 hours because your brain's not working. Your brain's not even there. That's probably why you ended up with a male kid, right? It's insane. This is the behavior. This is what I'm saying. This is the behavior right here. This is the behavior. This is why I say matriarchy not possible, because of these types of women right here. Right here.
He's been receiving because he's a cheater and he's a liar. And I also don't think it's fair to say that it's our fault, because at the end of the day, this is what happens when someone gets publicly exposed for cheating. I mean, I'm a little bit confused. Then Liz is just like, thank you for everyone who's been supporting me. I love you guys. It means a lot. But it is still giving that Liz is being manipulated by Landon. Liz also claimed that she tried to reach out to Abby and that Abby had blocked her. That I'm a little confused on. Why would Abby block her? Abby's coming out talking about how Landon abused her and how she wanted to get in touch with Liz. So I'm confused now why Abby blocked her. Like, y'all, stuff just is not adding up. I literally don't know what to believe, but I don't know why Liz is seemingly saying that Abby is crazy. Also,
because she's, this is so disappointing to me, because she has such a big following of women, and to find out that this type of person is the real person is very disappointing, to say the least, right? I mean, this chick is completely male-centered, right? Could not care less about other women, could not care less about even decorum. You don't even have to care about other women, but have some decorum, like, literally. And the perspective that she has, she's like, sorry, no offense to Liz followers, but she's a moron. I would not continue to follow her for any type of dating or coaching advice. She's still going to have a ton of followers, but this type of individual, like this, I mean, there's no way. Like, how are you reasoning through this whole thing and then trying to make it seem like it's everybody else's fault but the predator's fault? It doesn't even make sense.
Looking at Liz's story a couple hours earlier, and there was a story she took down basically talking about how Abby's like lying and she was like making up fake narratives, which I don't understand how Liz would even know that she was lying. Y'all, something's not adding up. Something's feeling a little bit weird. And I get that Liz wants to defend the father of her child, but at the end of the day, that's not someone to defend. And it's also not her place to say that Abby doesn't have the right to defend herself, because at the end of the day, it's Abby's trauma and Abby has the right to come out and talk about.
And the audacity to say that she's lying when you haven't even talked to her. You literally just admitted that supposedly you tried to reach out to her and you were blocked, supposedly. So how are you coming to the conclusion that she's lying? Are you well mentally? Is everything working up here? Right. So this is what I'm saying. Like, you can't, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's very, very disappointing to see. Because it's like that the males are having a field trip. The males are like, ha ha ha, see, that's who you've been following this whole time. Ha ha ha, look at you stupid women. You guys are so dumb. Look, ha ha ha. You know, this is the response from the males. It's insane.
How awful of a person Landon is. If Landon is at threat for quote unquote hurting himself just because someone is coming out and speaking about what he's done to them, that is a very much a Landon problem. If you are going to hurt yourself because of actions you have done. And if it's all false, then at the end of the day, Landon can go ahead and sue her. But I don't know, y'all. I just feel weird. Okay, y'all. Landon Nickerson's ex that he allegedly abused, Abby, she just responded to the wizard Liz's story calling her out. And Abby posted actual ER paperwork of her being pregnant with Landon's child. And in this, it basically says that like she's having some like bleeding. She was 1 month pregnant and she was having lower back pain. And I think that this is around the time that she actually had her miscarriage. And she said, I was pregnant. This is the ER paperwork. I'm not willing to make any more videos. I posted my truth and my reality with who I was with. And then Liz also called Abby out saying that she blocked her. So Liz was saying she was trying to reach out to Abby, but Abby had her blocked. And then Abby responded and said she was never blocked, referring to Liz. And she's showing a screenshot that she doesn't have Liz blocked. I don't know why she said that in her story. I didn't want any negativity to go towards Landon or Liz. And I didn't say anything bad. I was just sharing my experience with Landon, which is true. I only shared my experience because people were saying Landon and I dated while he was in a relationship with Liz, and she took it to her story asking why they thought that, and I was clearing my name and my boyfriend's name by making my story and showing the timestamps. So I don't see anything wrong with what Abby did. Honestly, I do think it's a little suspicious that Liz went to her story and was kind of trying to invalidate Abby's narrative. Again, I wish I had a screenshot, but there was another story that Liz posted that was something being like, oh, this girl's manipulative. And Liz was talking about how Abby went and was like sleeping with a married sugar daddy and how, Okay, I knew it. I knew she had posted this. I found it. This is what she had posted, and then Liz now deleted it. Okay, but Liz had this up on her story before. Oh, and I'm trying to message her personally, but now I just saw she blocked me. Girl, how are you going to lie and block me? Basically implying that Abby is lying about the story she just shared about Landon abusing her. And how are you going to talk about cheating when Landon just posted evidence of you having a married sugar daddy whilst in a relationship with him? What, Liz? And again, I want to offer up a level of sympathy to Liz because she's pregnant. I mean, her fiance just like did the unthinkable to her. I mean, I understand, but why are we defending Landon and giving into this story? I mean, Landon posted so much stuff on his Instagram story. Landon posted that that Abby, quote unquote, abused him, and just all of this stuff that was not adding up. Even the evidence about the married sugar daddy, you can go look at my past 2 videos. I talk about all this. They don't add up, y'all. This is weird. Like, oh my God.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe they planned it. Maybe the wizard Liz and this Landon guy planned this whole escapade, this public escapade. You know, that would make sense. That would be the missing piece. Maybe they planned it to gain followers, to gain whatever else. You know, it might just be something that was done for publicity. I don't know. What do y'all? I think this is so weird behavior. Even if you did plan it for publicity, I don't know why you would respond in this way. Defending someone that you claim cheated on you when you were 4 months pregnant. I'm not sure what that response is about. I don't know. Let's see, y'all. Oh, yeah. I gotta change it here too, just to make sure.
The wizard Liz is going to completely destroy her online branding for a man, and that is perhaps the saddest part of the story, is that she does inherently believe that she is more special than the rest of us and that she is the exception. And I truly believe that she thinks that she can change Landon, which is why she publicly shamed Abby online.
Exactly. Self-centered and male-centered. Exactly right.
I knew as soon as she posted these stories that these were going to be deleted because they're extremely emotionally charged and not at all based on fact. Okay, what the actual hell is happening right now?
Yeah, it is kind of like that, Freedom, like the female collective suffering from like Stockholm syndrome or something, right? But I don't know. Is it Stockholm syndrome when you're choosing to like berate other women and you know, you just look like it's like psycho syndrome. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah, but yeah, it's very, very similar for sure. I think the whole thing is a production. Okay. And I can appreciate a production as long as it's entertaining. And this has been entertaining. But the only way, because if something is missing, if something isn't smelling right, then something's up, right? Something is up, right? So the only way all of these things that don't make sense start making sense is, oh, it was all planned. It's all fabricated and fake to begin with. So maybe that's the reason why so many things are not lining up. You know?
We've got to get into why the wizard Liz is now getting called out for defending Landon like he didn't ruin everyone's peace, including Liz's peace and his ex's. The internet is spiraling. I don't know who to believe anymore, and I feel like I'm in a psychological thriller. So if you missed it, Landon's ex, Abby, just dropped a whole bombshell on us. She exposed...
That's her. Isn't she like freaking gorgeous? So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that they're all paid and they all get paid. The only one that really lost here is the male, because the male got bashed to the ground. He doesn't really have a social media following that I know of that's based off of like being on social media, right? Like an influencer type of deal. So I don't really know what he took out of the deal, but I'm guessing it probably was something related to money, or it might have even been a deal where I feel like the wizard Liz might have just wanted to have a child as well. And they might have all gotten together and kind of concocted this whole story. But if it's not making sense, if something doesn't make sense, then it just doesn't make sense. There's so many holes to it. I'm starting to believe more and more that the whole thing was made up. She might be pregnant, and maybe that's what gave them the idea, as far as like, well, you know, because the wizard Liz chick had broken up with that one guy not too long ago. Who's to say that one of the reasons they broke up was maybe a disagreement when it comes to having children? He might have wanted children. She also wanted children, but maybe she wanted it in a specific way or whatever, you know? So to me, that's speculation. But once you start putting these things oh, put this in this missing space. Oh, put this in this missing space. All of a sudden, stuff starts making a little bit more sense, right? So now you have this chick with like the messages and none of it is lining up. I'm starting to think, I feel like all of you are working together on this big production. And I don't think that they saw it coming. I don't think they saw the response, the backlash that the male was going to get. I don't think that they saw that backlash coming. I don't think that they knew that like the backlash would be that intense on this male, right? So I think like, and it worked. If you really look at it, it actually worked, because what did I say at the beginning of this live? She went on YouTube alone. She went from 7 million followers to maybe 8 or 9. I don't know what the latest number is, but she gained at least 1 million followers from this. Yeah. So I'm starting to think the whole thing is probably fabricated. I think there's a good chance she is pregnant. And I feel like that might have played into one of the reasons or how they even came up with this idea to begin with. Yeah. Yep. To have a pick-me role model for millions of women is crazy. You know, it's crazy. And so now millions of women are looking like, well, now what? So I it's insane, because who could possibly keep listening to an individual that has now done this to her branding, you know? But I know that they will. They will keep listening to her. It's insane.
Landon for allegedly being emotionally and physically abusive, like seriously disturbing stuff. Go watch my last video if you need the full context. There's also allegations of him flying to Ibiza and stalking her, also allegedly emailing her nonstop trying to win her back. Now Liz, yes, that Liz responded, and I'm genuinely confused, you guys, because she says she's been getting videos from her friends showing that Abby posted a video claiming she DM'd Liz and even got a call from her, but Liz is saying that never happened, that she never called any girl in her life. She posted these on her Instagram story just yesterday, writing, guys, I'm getting videos from my friends that Landon's ex just posted a video saying that she had DM'd me before and that I called her. I've never in my life called any women or ever been aware about other women in our relationship. She shows evidence of a no caller ID number and claims she recognized it's me because of my Middle Eastern accent. I am not Middle Eastern, and it feels like to me you're trying to make fun of my accent. Whatever happened between you and Landon is between you guys to solve, but don't start lying and making up rumors about me. My friend kept commenting that I never called her or have seen her DMs, and her comments kept getting deleted. I don't understand what your motive is. She also leaked Landon's phone number and email, and people are calling and texting him every second to unalive himself. I don't want the father of my child to hurt himself. He's already going through it, and he's already
That also doesn't make sense. The whole like, oh, she licked his phone number, like she leaked all of the most intimate information about this guy, contact information about this guy. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Lost everything. Stop the hate, please. Now, when Liz says that she was blocked by Abby, people are just not really buying into it. Why would Abby block you when she's literally been trying to talk to you this whole time? That part, the math is not mathing. I'm really trying to move on from this, but now I can't even try to heal or think about me and the baby because I have to worry about my ex hurting himself. I've never seen any girls DM about him until Peyton messaged my friend that she found on TikTok. That's the only reason I found out. When I found out, I immediately left and I'm trying to move on. Do whatever you want to do, but leave me out of this and stop creating false narratives that never happened. Okay, so maybe the call never happened, but Abby did show actual proof that she reached out to Liz back in November, if you guys remember. That DM exists, and she even shared a live screen recording yesterday and says that she never blocked Liz. So something is not adding up here, and a lot of people are coming for Liz now because it seems like she is doing everything in her power to try and defend Landon, and a lot of people are worried that she is even going to end up getting back with Landon sometime soon.
Look, I see into the future. Sometimes it scares people, but I already made a podcast about them getting back together, y'all. That's on the podcast section. Literally titled Back Together, Landon, Liz Back Together, because I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if that were a thing, you know?
I will say Liz might have not seen the message because, again, she is famous and her inbox probably looks like a war zone. But now Liz is saying her friend was trying to defend her in the comments and that they kept getting deleted. And then she's like, I don't get your motive, talking about Abby like she's scheming or something. When Abby says all she was trying to do with this, she wasn't trying to send any hate towards Liz or Landon. She was just simply sharing her experience with Landon. She showed a bunch of messages, emails, videos. She was even shaking throughout her video and showed her rashes and hives because of the anxiety that was built up while she was filming this video. All the trauma coming back, having to pretty much relive this story. People just feel like at the end of the day, Landon did this all to himself. And the way Liz is trying to make it...
You know, what I think is this. Sticking to the point, the general point is, look, this is just a massive L all around. Okay. There is so many young women that follow this girl. So many women in general that actually follow and listen to this girl. This is kind of a disaster here. Okay. And the way that, even if this is fabricated, the way they went about executing this tells me that perhaps they miscalculated the public's reaction. Okay. So now it's going to be interesting to see. I have a feeling she's going to, hi, Selking B, thanks for joining. I have a feeling that she's going to just kind of pop back up. She'll say one or two sentences about it and then just kind of try to move on or not even speak on it from there. That's how I have a feeling. I have a feeling that that's probably how she's going to handle this particular thing, this particular issue, right? But you know, the way I'm viewing this is, yeah, there is a high probability that the whole situation might be fabricated, okay? But that doesn't change the impact that this is having and that it's had. So either way it goes, we're looking and we're taking a look and we're seeing a woman that's just, none of the options are good, right? Either she fabricated the whole thing and really doesn't give a crap about women whatsoever, you know, doesn't really care, didn't even think about the fact that, well, most of my following is made up of young women that I've been telling how to stay out of these situations. So a story like this one would send them backwards. It wouldn't make sense, right? So first option, she gives two craps about anybody but herself. She does not care. Right? Option number one. Option number two, it's real. The whole thing is real. And she is showing that there's a good chance that she might be a crappy person. Okay. I'm not saying she is. I'm just saying she's showing that there's a good chance that she might be. Okay. Option number two, right? So none of these options are good options. Okay. They're all terrible options, right? But this is all leading to the same place, which is this is an individual that can't be trusted at the end of the day, right? This is an individual that, you know, either way, even if it's fabricated, even if it's not fabricated, does not care about women, does not care about girls, does not care whatsoever about her following women or girls. Okay. Because even if it's fabricated, she's not going to choose this story. She's not going to choose this story that's making her look epically stupid. Okay. There's no way, because she would have in mind the following, you know, her following, right? If she cared, if she actually gave a crap, if it's fabricated, right? Now, if it's real and we're seeing this is the real reaction, well, either way, it leads to the same place. She doesn't give a crap whatsoever. She does not care, right? This is what we're starting to see. She doesn't care about women. She doesn't care about her following. She doesn't care about any of it, jack squat, right? She literally does not care, right? So it leads us to the same conclusion either way, which is the crazy part. It's like, well, either way, we end up in the same place, which is this individual doesn't care about women. This individual doesn't care about her following. This individual has just been spitting out nonsense this whole time. Hi, Rigel. How are you? Am I pronouncing that? Is it Rigel or Rigel? Rigel. Let me know. Sorry if I butchered it. Oh my gosh. But hey, thanks for joining. So either way, we end up in the same place. Okay, it's the same conclusion because both of those lead us to the same place. There's no way, and then to fabricate this whole thing and be willing to to put your following through all of this back and forth, and so you only care about what is it, the money, or is it like just your following count increasing? Oh, okay, it's Rigel. Okay, hopefully I'm close. So either way, we end up in the same place. That's what I think. That's what I think about the situation. I think that I don't, she essentially gave him a win, because when you trap a woman with a kid like that, that's a win, whether it's real or not. If the perception, if what people are believing is like that you trapped this chick with your kid and then cheated on her, unfortunately for women in general, that's an L. Okay. Now, like I said, I feel like women handled it really well, because this guy got dragged to the ground. It was like a barrier to entry. Okay. Like, I don't think they saw that reaction coming. The intensity of that reaction, I don't think they necessarily saw that coming. Okay. The intensity itself. I think they probably anticipated something, but I don't think they anticipated how intense it was. Okay. But either way, it's an L, y'all. Hard G, like girl. Oh, okay. Rigel. Is it Rigel? Yeah, so Freedom says, I unfollowed her and come here instead. Oh, yeah, good. Because you're not going to be able to unlive or unlearn what you now know. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to have you, Freedom. I did it. I got it. I was like, now I can't give up now. I can't give it up now. I already said it out loud and everything, like it's on record. Now I got to get it right, So good. I'm glad. Thank you. All right. So this is the thing. This is what's puzzling about this. But it does teach an important lesson as far as like vibes from her in particular. I thought, oh, great. So that's what she's doing. I see what you're doing, keep up the work, right? But I didn't watch her because she was like doing a lot of yelling. Maybe it's because like I'm a little bit older, so I'm kind of like, I don't know why she's yelling at me. So that the delivery was not my thing, but this is just an epic fail, in my opinion. This is a tragedy. It's a tragedy because either way we look at it, it doesn't work. And another thing that I noticed from the Wizard Liz is she has a tendency to be very manipulative. And because her following is so young, they're not going to catch that. They're not going to catch the manipulation. Like, for example, let me see, where is that little thing that she just... Friends, Landon X just posted a video, blah, blah, blah. I have never in my life called any woman or even been aware about any other women in our relationship. She shows evidence of a no caller ID and claims she recognized it's me because of my Middle Eastern accent. So so the Wizard List says she shows evidence of a no caller ID number and claims she recognized it's me because of my Middle Eastern accent. Okay. I am not Middle Eastern, and it feels like to me, I'm not Middle Eastern, and it feels like to me you're trying to make fun of my accent. Girl, what? This is manipulation. Like, that's what it feels like, that she's trying to make fun of your accent. Why are you manipulating the public? Obviously that everyone saw a copy of the messages that she sent to you, or whatever the case may be, right? You are the only one that took away Well, it feels like you're just trying to make fun of my accent. It feels like to me you're being catty and petty, right? Someone you don't even know, someone that you've admitted that you haven't even spoken to, right? To me, it's one thing to deny the claims and everything. It's another to add all this like extra information, because this is extra information. The only thing this is going to do, think about it, this extra information, it feels like to me, because she could have just said, I'm not Middle Eastern. I don't have a Middle Eastern accent. You know, she could have even said something like, hopefully that wasn't you trying to make a dig at me. Hopefully that wasn't you trying to like dig at me. That I would have understood. Well, she wants to address it just in case, right? But the wording that she chose here, it feels like to me, you're trying to make fun of my accent, girl. Way. You're trying to make fun of my accent. So she's trying to elicit certain emotions from her following, especially after seeing that, you know, her following came to her defense the first time. It almost feels like to me that she's trying to, it seems like she might be trying to send her following after this girl. And it didn't work out because everyone got confused. Like, well, why are you attacking her? We're not understanding why you're attacking her. So it didn't work. It didn't work, you know. She recognizes me, blah, blah, blah. Then she says, let me see, what's this other message? Whatever happened between you and Landon is between you guys to solve, and don't start lying and making up rumors about me. Dang, that's crazy. Whatever happened between you and Landon is between you and start. That's crazy, y'all. This is insane. She also leaked Landon's phone number and email, and people are calling and texting him every second to unalive himself. It's like she wants everyone to be like, she was trying to send her following after this girl. Honestly, that's what I think. If I had to guess, she is someone that's kind of like power crazy. You know, after seeing the reaction that the audience had to this degenerate male cheating on her and stuff like that, I think that she now feels like she can kind of manipulate the public with this nonsense, right? So, you know, you're kind of tearing someone else. She also leaked calling and texting him every second to unalive himself. She's like literally trying to send her audience after this girl. Like, how dare you? How, you know, now look what you've done. Da, 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 da. And it's like, it didn't work. It was an epic fail, obviously. I don't want the father of my child to hurt himself. You know, this is pathetic. I'm sorry. There's no nicer way for me to say that. I don't want the father of my child to hurt himself. Like, no one even likes that guy. So what made you think that this would work? You trying to send your following over there to attack this girl? What made you think that would work? They don't even like him. It's crazy, but that's what she's trying to do. Right? He's already going through it, and he's already lost everything. He's lost everything. He's lost everything. He's going through it. He's lost everything. Who cares that he cheated on me while I was 4 months pregnant? Who cares that he's a degenerate male? He's lost everything. The love of my life. She's probably back with him, and she's just not going to tell you all about it. Right? If this is real, she's probably back together with that degenerate, and she's not going to tell you. Okay. Stop the hate, please. You know, after seeing this, I would literally stop following this individual. I would stop following her because she literally just doesn't even care. She doesn't care. Like, stop the hate, please. Like this, like it's like the blind leading the blind. That's what it's like. It's like, it's really giving blind leading the blind at this point. You know, if you're willing to like choose a male over your own followers, over the people that give you and the, you know, audience that you need to begin with, then that's the blind leading the blind, you know? Yeah, like, who even says Middle Eastern accents are bad? Exactly. Lisa's implying it herself in that statement. Yeah, she's implying that Middle Eastern accents are bad. Then she's like trying to say, oh, I feel like you're just trying to make fun of me, you know? And it's like, I feel like you're not taking your situation seriously. That's what I feel like, because you're focusing on all these other little things. And what we're talking about is the fact that you're pregnant by a random male that just cheated on you. I feel like you're missing the point, right? So insane, y'all. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it.
seem like it's people's fault on social media for holding Landon accountable for his deplorable actions is just not it. Here's just a bunch of comments going around about this whole situation. Let me tell you, people are starting to lose respect for Liz.
I just got my function health test results back, so let's go over them together. I got the basic
Here's just a bunch of comments going around about this whole situation. Let me tell you, people are starting to lose respect for Liz. She's going to be back with him in no time. Makes me sad, but I have a feeling she's not done with him. Abby showed she didn't block her. I feel sorry for Abby in all of this. I saw Abby's video and she is only telling her side of the story. She mentioned Liz, but she also said that she wants to share only her story and not involve anybody else. By the way, the one who started all of this is Liz telling publicly what happened. Landon is trash, but she exposed him and now is blaming Abby and defending him. Sad. Liz is showing zero empathy for a girl that lived a hell, but shows empathy for that rat that treated her like trash. The audacity. Isn't Liz—
That's a good point. She's showing all this empathy for a male that supposedly treated her like garbage, and has zero empathy for another woman. Even if you feel like she was making stuff up, what kind of response is that? So that just tells you the type of person that this actually is, because like I said, neither option is a good option. Neither of these, both options lead to the same place, which is, maybe you're not what you were claiming to be, right? It's insane.
The one who started the hate on Landon? Like, what? I'm convinced she's gonna take him back and she isn't going to tell us. She's still in love with him because she easily took his side. All of his Insta stories are so crash out coded like they were no receipts. She's still in love with him. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved.
Don't save her.
I feel like Abby has every right to speak her truth. If she's been abused, she's allowed to talk about it, even if it makes people uncomfortable, especially if it makes Landon uncomfortable. And if Landon is spiraling because someone is calling him out for what he allegedly did, that's Landon.
And it's obvious that she's telling the truth also, y'all, because I just remembered that this Landon degenerate male responded to her. He responded to her, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, even threatened her with like a lawsuit, and was saying, you need to stop, you need to take down your postings, you need to do this, you need to do that. So that is not the behavior of someone who's innocent, right? At all. If this were just some random person, I don't think that they would be responding in that way, right? So as far as I can see here, this is a tragic response. I mean, I don't know. And also to find out that she's only 24, I'm kind of like, man, that's wild. But I've said this before in my channel as well. I think it was during a live. It might have been a live or a podcast. I can't remember. But it's always impressive to see how women are willing to ignore red flags and red signs, because she was saying all of this nonsense. This is not her first infraction. This is not the wizard Liz's first infraction. Okay. This is not her first infraction. I'll tell you what her first infraction was. When I started, that was the first time I was like, this is interesting. Okay. Her first infraction was the fact that she was preaching all these things with the coaching of women and all this other stuff. All in the meanwhile, she was with her ex, the one that she broke up with to get with this new degenerate male. Weren't they dating for like 2 or 3 years? Only for her to end up breaking up with him anyway? They were dating for like years. Meanwhile, stuff that she preaches on her channel is about how women should not settle for what they don't want, how they should like stand up for themselves, or whatever else that's like women empowerment or dissenter male content. Meanwhile, you stayed for like 3 years or however many years you were with a male that wasn't even someone that you saw a future with. It took you years to realize that. Someone that you didn't even like. It took you years to, that's red flag. That was red flag number 1 to me. I was like, that's a little strange. That's a little strange. Red flag number 2 when it comes to her, to me, was, okay, because I could have sworn you just came out with the breakup announcement 2 seconds ago, and it's not even been a year. Now you're coming up with a new announcement that you're with some other random male, right? So that was me in the background, just kind of like, that's interesting, you know? And then I just move on because I don't really watch her until this whole thing. I still don't watch like the content, but definitely I'm watching this drama unfold, right? So it wasn't her first infraction, but the following she has, a lot of them are so young that they're not going to process information in that way. You know, they're oh, well, she's da, 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 da. And I'm like, but if that's what she's telling you to do, if she's putting herself out as being this person that's knowledgeable about these things and wanting to even work on these things, even if you're not an expert in it, it doesn't take you years to figure out that someone's not a good fit for what you're wanting in your future. That's not a good sign. Okay. So, you know, these are signs that maybe that's not the person to follow when it comes to advising women on centering themselves. Not that she doesn't have anything else to offer, but with the stuff that she's saying, what the brand is based off of, it's kind of like, that might not be a good idea. Yeah, so can be. She's crashing and burning. Yep. Choosing him over her platform that gives her and add money and sponsors will make her broke and dependent on the guy. Stay at home mom to poverty pipeline. Mom to poverty. Yeah, mom to poverty pipeline. Exactly. She's building her own cage. Yeah, she's building her own cage. And this is what women do all the time. They build their own cages. You can't really help them. You know, it's like they have to choose it for themselves, right? And that's why I say all the time, like, I don't really tell, I know they're not going to be able to do it if I say, like, just cut off all males forever, you know. But then the challenge is, I also know that even the sprinkle movement is too hard for women to do. They get all emotional, they get all attached, they can't keep a roster. It's freaking weird, you know. And so you're kind of left in a space where it's each person for themselves, basically. Like, you really just have to love yourself more and choose yourself first. Honestly speaking, it's not something that you can like fake. And so that way, even when it's hard, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change your choice as far as choosing yourself, you know. But yeah, she's like building her own demise here. She really is.
Issue, not Abby's. People also noticed that Liz ended up deleting this Instagram story where she called Abby a liar and said that she's pushing fake narratives. Like, people lost it at that, being like, how do you know what's fake if you're saying you never talked to her?
I just said that.
That's why Liz is getting a ton of backlash right now, and she hasn't made any statements since, but
I cannot make this up. The wizard Liz is now defending Landon after Abby released her video exposing him for cheating and stalking her. And also, Landon posts a picture of their baby's ultrasound and says, "My deepest desire is to give you the life you deserve, and I'm so sorry. Liz, thank you for carrying our miracle. I'm so sorry I failed you both." I swear these two are back together. They're going to get back together. Or they're already together. I think that's why she's defending him.
Abby has since come out with another Instagram story, and
Y'all, before this was even posted, I already made that podcast, documented and sealed, that says back together, because I know the behavior of women, and I know the behavior of males. I'm like, what? Someone that's willing to take this much abuse is not going to easily be able to walk away from the abuser, right? And also, with this much, like, it's not hate, it's more like she just doesn't care about other women, about, like, I don't even know if she cares about herself, because you can't say that you care about yourself if this is what you're choosing to do, you know? It's a mess.
with documents, like legit medical records showing that she was pregnant with Landon's child. And according to this form, she had lower back pain and bleeding, which seems to line up with the time she had her miscarriage. She said, "This is the ER paperwork. I'm not wanting to make any more videos. I posted the truth and my reality with who I was with." She then posted this, writing, "She was never blocked. I don't know why she said that in her story. I didn't want any negativity to go towards Landon or Liz, and I didn't say anything bad. I just shared my experience with Landon," which is true, and Abby has every right to speak out her side of the story. "I only shared my experience because people were saying Landon and I dated while he was in a relationship with Liz, and she took it to her story asking why they thought that. I was clearing my name and my boyfriend's name by making my story and showing timestamps. I have nothing to gain by lying or being involved. I have a voice and story."
It broke me to be pregnant. It broke me to go through that. It broke me. And I knew that this is not love.
Landon finds me in Ibiza, cyber stalking me. Landon, the wizard Liz, Landon also stalked the wizard Liz. Okay, he found her in another country. Popped up, said that it felt like I walked through a veil. If you've ever dated a narcissist psychopath, then this all probably looks very familiar, okay? This is what they do when they get...
Oh my god, you guys. I cannot make this up. Landon's ex from last year just dropped multiple TikToks, like screenshots, receipts, actual videos.
I'm hoping that she has some of the TikToks in here. There was when I couldn't find it, now that I wanted to use it, where it literally compiled her entire response, this Abby chick, and it was showing us, like she was saying everything. And I'm like, I thought I had saved it, but I guess not, right? I don't know if this has any of that in it. I guess we'll see. But yeah, this is where we're at. I haven't heard any other updates as to this particular situation as of right now. I know that as of right now, she's been posting like about the baby. She made like a random post where she doesn't look pregnant at all. Like she just posted something where I'm like, I don't know. I've never been 4 months pregnant, but aren't they supposed to look bigger? What, like at that, like she doesn't look pregnant at all. So I'm confused as to if those were old pictures that she was posting, or was she just like trolling? I don't know, but that she's just like, it's like random stuff now. But as far as this goes, like no one has, I mean, neither of them have addressed it.
Cheated on her multiple times, and get this, stalked her for months. Like full on showed up in a trip in Ibiza while she was trying to move on with a whole new man. I'm sorry, but does this not sound eerily familiar? Because now those rumors about him stalking his way into
Not really if she's super skinny. Okay. Yeah, I don't know when you're supposed to be showing. So you know, I don't really think, I think the pregnancy part is real, because I kind of feel like there's no way that that wouldn't be real, because how would you explain that later on by 6 months? So we'll see what she looks like by 6 months, you know, but that's what she's been posting so far, is just those types of posts where it's like, okay, like nothing as far as this.
Meeting Liz at the airport, yeah. People are pointing out the striking similarities between Abby's story and the rumors that Landon stalked Liz and accidentally ran into her at the airport. And honestly, if you were to ask me, after everything Abby has shared, it really doesn't seem that far-fetched. And now Landon's trying to clap back with a bunch of stories explaining his side. We need to break all this down, so let's get into it, you guys. Okay, so Abby, Landon's ex, just dropped a whole series of TikToks, and she's finally speaking out about what she says went down during their relationship. She says she and Landon were in a relationship for about a year. Abby claims that Landon subjected her to multiple forms of abuse.
Can you work as a travel advisor without quitting your job?
Yes, I usually use my account without this.
Modern traveling.
She says she and Landon were in a relationship for about a year. Abby claims that Landon subjected her to multiple forms of abuse. Physical, emotional, mental, and even spiritual. She says even making this video, she still breaks out in stress rashes just talking about him.
Part 2 of who the was I dating? I'm literally breaking out in hives and rashes because I have so much built up anxiety, because I don't want to talk about this at all.
Which I feel like really shows how deeply it's affected her.
I met Landon 2020 3 to 2024. I met him in Dallas, Texas. He's from Oklahoma. I'm from Texas. I met him. I was a bottle girl. He came out all the time. Everyone said he was known for being the sweetest person. My guard was already up. I was 3 months abstinent. I was not in a relationship. I ended up getting a lot of trauma that happened to me in the state of Connecticut. I had someone steal my identity and lock me in a closet and put it to my head and beat me to the point where I was in an ER. So I was traumatized. I was broken. I was hurt. I had a unresolved wound from my parental figures. So I ended up deleting my contact with him and getting rid of my number, and I deleted everything. I broke up with him in 2024, and my best friend sent me all the screenshots. So if it wasn't for her, I would have had nothing to showcase for. But we met in Dallas. I was a bottle girl. My friends knew Landon because he was always going out. I was 21 at the time. I lived in a different state, and I just never went out. I'm just not a going out person. I'm not a big drinker. I don't do drugs. He does that. Whatever he wants, I don't care what he does. So everyone's saying he's just such a nice person. And I'm like, great, you can be a nice person. You're in my age range. You're freaking smart. So he's just really good with his words. And I told him I just want nothing but friendship. So we did the food fly together. I met his friends. He met some of my friends. And everyone was just having a grand time. And I went home after that. And he's like, I'll come with you. I was like, no, like, I'm not. I can't. Like, there's so much in my heart. I don't feel safe being with you. I don't know. Everything like that, because I had to bring what happened to me into that, because I was April and we were talking in July. And then we started officially dating in August. He made me feel so loved, so seen, so heard, so understood. He took my trauma that I didn't want to open up about, and he made it feel like I'm safe. And I believed him. Could this be the guy that I prayed for? Like, could this be everything I ever wanted in life? And I was not educated in therapy. I was not educated in psychology. I was not educated in anything spiritual. And he awakened something in me that I always knew I had. So we met. We started dating. He cheated on me with the first girl. I'm going to show you the screenshots. This was the first screenshot. And then I had such a broken part of me that was never healed and never fixed. And I kept on saying to myself, like, why am I attracted to the same quality men in different fonts? Why is this happening to me?
You guys, this is actually terrifying. Abby says he's been spamming her with a flood of messages.
So y'all, that's what I was hoping was in there. So I guess it was in this video, y'all. So you heard what she said, right? Everything that, like, I summarized at the beginning. That's why I kept saying, look, I'm not the stories make themselves, right? And that the thing about it is, she said something that stood out to me. She was like, could this be, this is how a lot of women think. Could this be the guy that I've been praying for? It's like, who in their right mind, who's connected to nature, sits there praying for a male? It's like, how about praying for every other thing, everything that's actually going to make you happy? And then if there's a male that fits in well with that, that gravitates towards you naturally, then you have a better chance of being able to see what happens from there. But if you're sitting there praying for a male, that tells me, A, you're overly focused on like the fantasy person. So if you're too focused on someone that's like a fantasy, okay, you're gonna be less likely to catch these red flags because you're so focused on having a fantasy, right? You're going to be saying, I love you. Meanwhile, you really don't love him either, because you can't love someone that you don't really know. You've projected all of your weird fantasy stuff on this male. So you don't even know who this male really is. You're just wanting what you want, basically. It's interesting. It's an interesting form of selfishness if you think about it, long enough. So I feel like that's the same thing that the wizard Liz did, because remember, y'all, she was saying, because I looked into this when the story broke out, when this whole thing happened, she in her previous content would say, this is the guy that I want. This is my perfect guy. He's going to be loving. I want someone that's this, basically praying for a male, focusing all of her energy on a male, this type of male. This is the type of male that I want. This is the type of, she did the exact same thing. So predators target the same types of women. So then the women then start, why do I keep attracting the same type of males? Because they will target the same types of women if you haven't evolved. If you haven't evolved, then that means you're like perfect prey to them,
Stop. And even shared this video where Landon apparently commented on her video multiple times asking her to take it down, otherwise she's going to get hit with a lawsuit.
Then I said I knew it. My memory works sometimes, y'all. I said that. I was like, I think he threatened her with a lawsuit. That screams guilty to me.
Emailed her because she blocked him everywhere else.
I took him back because I'm stupid, because he would flood with more notes, more handwritten notes, more flowers, more everything, and he would jump a 10-foot fence to get into my building, my apartment complex. He would literally write me notes and everything. It was just so much physically, and then mentally. Took him back, It comes around New Year's. He cheated on me again with the same girl. They went to the same party. I just lost. I was like, whatever, just go do you. He invited her to Hawaii with his guy friends in like January. My brain stopped working. January, and then I found that out when I went through his phone. We broke up again. He threw a light wand at me. Like, it was just so much. My birthday comes around in February. My first actual ever birthday, I didn't cry because I had so much trauma from my past. I hated my birthday. He did that well, I guess. And then April is when it's his birthday, and he went to go to Bora Bora with his guy friends. I totally believed that was the story that he was telling me because it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. I was like, yeah, go have fun. Like, I'm not a toxic person. You go have fun. I have my own friends. You have your own friends. Have fun. I thought it was with the man in Bora Bora with all his guy friends. It wasn't. Another girl that he cheated on me with. She's from Florida, and that hurt. That really hurt. And I was just embarrassed. And I knew that I deserved better. I knew that it broke me to be pregnant. It broke me to go through that. It broke me to feel what my mom felt. Like, it broke me. And I knew that this is not love. When we went to the therapist, she was like, this is not love. She's like, you're so young. You don't deserve this. And this is not normal. And this is not how it should be. She told me that there's butterflies in your stomach that you get with a man. It's just your nervous system saying, stop. Stop. Find someone else. And when she told me that stuck with me, I kept on going to see her. I'm not a freaking BPD, but she knew what I went through, so she would know how to heal me, and she made me have so much self-worth because she kept on telling me that I got back from Bora Bora. I woke up on a Sunday when he was in Bora Bora, whatever day that was, I don't remember his birthday, but the only Sunday he was there for, I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I was like, he got with someone. I felt it in my soul because it was a trauma bond, it was a soul tie.
He allegedly told her that it's not something he'll ever do again, allegedly really trying to win her over again. But it's like, why did you still end up doing that with Liz, sir? I don't know, you guys. I think it was giving obsessive, not remorseful.
There's so much in my heart that I felt. I literally freaking woke up and was like, yeah, that's it. I woke up with thousands of emails because I blocked him when he went because I was like, no, this is not for me. You know, you have fun, but and he opened up and he was honest that he was with her.
Are you wondering if your child might have autism? Our no-cost ebooks walks you through the entire diagnostic process. Learn about
this is not for me. You know, you have fun, but and he opened up and he was honest that he was with her. I'm going to show you a screenshot. There was this. He sent me like playing house. Like, what the fuck is the email? Apologize. This is everything. Found me at the gym, and then he wanted me to talk to him, and it was just so toxic. He sent me email. Physically ended it with
child, y'all. I don't know. These emails look real. Okay, these text messages look real. That's a lot of text messages. Those emails are super long. Let me see. Can we zoom in on here on this? What does that date say? I can't really see the date. It's all blurry. Hold on, let me see. Y'all, these look real, y'all. 504 of what day is that? Okay, wow. Y'all, this looks real. Let me know what you think, but the evidence that she has is pretty substantial. This is pretty substantial evidence.
To Miami, I graduated college, made it all about him when I graduated college, showed up my house with all these gifts and all these flowers. I said no, I respected myself. Finally, said no, moved to Miami all by myself.
Abby shares that Landon came and found her in a new place of residence where she was staying with her best friend. And he came in and he started begging and crying on his knees in front of her best friend to take him back. Abby also shared that he was a stalker to her, that when she moved to Miami, she had a completely new place of residence and started seeing a new therapist. And somehow, Landon apparently found her new place of residence, found her therapist, and started seeing her therapist as a patient himself to try and convince the therapist that him and her were meant to be back together.
That's insane. That's what I was saying. That's what I was telling y'all at the beginning. I was like, she's saying that he stalked her as well. And I believe it because he's supposed to be a tech guy, right? He owns like a tech company or something. I really feel like there's a good chance he like hacked her computer or hacked her phone or something to have that much detail, and probably did the same thing in this situation. Because why does that sound weird considering the fact that he just randomly showed up at the airport where the wizard Liz was about to take her trip? She was all covered up, hat on, mask on. She even said out of her mouth, you couldn't tell who I was. That was literally the point, was that you wouldn't be able to tell who I am, right? And this degenerate was able to find her somehow. I think he goes around hacking phones, so you got to be careful, especially with the males that are either willing to pay for that to be done or can do it themselves. You can get your phone hacked. You can get your computer hacked. It even happens to YouTube content creators all the time. How many content creators? I've heard at least 3 or 4 content creators say, oh, I clicked on this one email. I thought it was a sponsorship, and they took over my whole YouTube channel. They took over my whole computer. I had to get a new computer because I'm not sure if the virus is in my computer or if it's just like in the email. I'm not sure. So how much do you want to bet? I feel like I'm piecing the stuff together. That how much do you want to bet that, assuming that this whole thing is real, which she has receipts that are making me feel like, okay, maybe it is real, because this Abby chick, that's a lot of receipts. I mean, it would be interesting if they went in so much detail when planning this thing out. Or maybe these two planned it out and didn't know that Abby was right around the corner. I don't know, but it seems like there's a good chance it's real. So I think he's probably going around hacking phones and hacking computers. How much do you want to bet? Especially if, like, for example, the Wizard Liz said that they met on Instagram. What if he sent her some link or something? Oh, look at this picture. She clicks on the picture, looks at the picture, boom, he has access to her phone, or he has access to her laptop. He has access to all her passwords. He has access to her email, because now he has access to her laptop where all her passwords are saved. So he can see, oh, she got a new therapist. I'm trying to tell you, like, this thing is rampant. That's what I think probably happened, is that this guy somehow hacked their phone and hacked their computer, their laptop. There's a good chance he started with the phone, because when he gets in a relationship with them, now guess what? He has easier access to the computer if he didn't have access to that computer before. I'm just saying, because it's too weird. How do you specifically know exactly where she is in that airport? And it's not like airports are small. Airports aren't small. Airports aren't just one room where you just walk into the airport and everyone is in one place. Airports are typically a pretty big size. Even the small airports have this direction, that direction, that direction. How do you know exactly where she is if you don't have some form of tracking her movements? If you don't have some form of knowing where she's going to be taking a trip, where her gate is leaving out of, how? I think he was hacking. In my opinion, I think he hacked that girl's phone and hacked her computer as well, potentially. And that's how he knew. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. There's no other way this guy would have known. Okay. I even think there's a good chance he might have followed her for a day or two, or for a little while, might have literally followed her, positioned himself in the same area as her, right? In order to get it right, to time it just right. I'm just saying. Hi, Lala. Thanks for joining. She enabled him by ignoring his past due to her own desperate needs. Exactly. She totally ignored all the red flags. The red flags were even without knowing this guy's past, the red flags were so glaring and obvious that it's embarrassing at this point. For someone that's like saying that they're coaching other women, it's just embarrassing. It's just humiliating. It's unheard of. These red flags are so insane that it's like, have you just been joking around with all these videos you've been making for all these years? Because it's wild, even without knowing the history, it's insane, Yep. Psychology 101. Liz was projecting through her videos. Yeah. She attracted exactly what she didn't want. Exactly. And she was a target due to her own projecting. Exactly. A lot of times because the universe will like give you, the universe is like a mirror, you know. She was like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want that. She was like literally setting herself up to be preyed on, almost like she was inviting the predators. It's almost like you're just to come after you, right? Oh, this is what I want, this is the type of male, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. Yeah, so she invited it upon herself because she was too, I hate to use this word because this is a word that the males misuse all the time, but too desperate, you know. And you can't go around preaching these things if you're not even happy being alone and being by yourself. How are you going to like try to lead and guide a mass following of other women? And then be surprised that they have this reaction when something like this happens. Now you're like, what? How do you can't be surprised. There's like 7 million. There's like, now there's like 8 or 9 million of you, like of the followers of like people looking at you, right? Wanting to like duplicate whatever it is that you're telling them to duplicate. Totally insane, y'all. That's what I think. I think he hacked her phone, especially because it makes sense if you think about it. He's in tech, right? He's in tech, right? Supposedly he has a tech business, as a matter of fact. People that are not in tech, even they know how to hack someone's phone. You know, they can get into your bank account super easily, to the point where the banks, the big banks, are always, oh, reset your password. They're always harassing the common person, the regular person. You're always having to reset your password. You're always having to do this. They're sending you codes to your email so you can put the code in so they can make sure that it's you. You know, there's a reason why these companies have to do all these things, because you don't even have to have a tech degree. If you're willing to learn how to do it, it's probably not that hard to just learn how to do it. And you just hack away, hack into someone's phone. All they have to do is click that reply button, click that one little link, or whatever the case may be. And you have access, and they don't even know that you have access. That's what I think happened. That's what I think happened.
Now, this part sent chills down my spine, you guys, because Abby says that she went on a separate trip with her friends in Ibiza and that he found her at her separate trip, that he found her in a Sephora and tried to get her to take him back in the Sephora in front of her boyfriend. Abby also revealed that during Landon's relationship with Liz, she actually DM'd Liz trying to give her a heads up to be careful, maybe even share some of her own experience with Landon. But it looks like Liz never saw the message, which makes sense. Liz is extremely popular on social media. Her DMs are probably flooded every single day, so she might have just missed the message. I also want to mention, I came across this Reddit thread that summed up my thoughts perfectly on the whole timeline of Liz and Landon meeting and getting engaged, because so many people on social media feel like it all just happened way too fast, and something, it just isn't adding up. I was wondering why Liz was so defensive on her story that her and Landon were single when they met. Usually when someone is defensive, that means someone struck a nerve. Anyway, does anyone know when they met at the airport? Landon's last email to Abby was on July 28, 2024. Assuming they met that day, that means they've only known each other for 10 months. They allegedly got married within a few months, and within 6 months of knowing him, she got pregnant. Now, it's been several hours since Abby came out with her story, and now Landon is speaking out, and he just posted his side to this whole situation, addressing the allegations of his ex, Abby. And I guess a lot of people started comparing him to Joe Goldberg, and here's what he had to say. I'm taking my power back. I'm done not defending myself. I'm done not respecting.
Yeah, the whole thing is insane. Like, so think about this, y'all. We are still in June. If they started talking or whatever in July, it hasn't even been a year. What? That means it hasn't even been 1 year, and she's gotten pregnant. She almost got married to a degenerate cheater. She's made herself look like a complete lunatic to her public audience by attacking this woman that was saying that she's trying to warn her or whatever. All within the downfall all within a few months, not even a year. Okay. And this is what I warn against all the time. I'm like, the first thing is you have to come to the realization that the more you accomplish in life, it doesn't matter what type of accomplishment. It could be like studying, school, financial assets, property. The more you accomplish, the smaller the pool of males. That's just a fact. The pool of males is already small. Most of them are already degenerate. So definitely it's true. That's not a myth. Right? You can't just go around with anyone and everyone and ignoring red flags and expect to come out unscathed, because these males will specifically target you. The more that you have, the more they'll want to target you, because it's like that saying, right? The bigger the tree, or the bigger the animal, the louder the fall, right? So the more successful you are, the bigger the prey. Duh. It's totally insane. Hi, Miss Markin. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I agree. So can be. That's what I'm saying. So can be like even a moron behind, like just sitting on his couch, like a degenerate male, just like playing video games all day, could literally hack your phone. Like you don't even need a degree to do that. All you have to do is like maybe even just Google it or something. Like you don't even have to be, you could literally be the dumbest person alive and you could easily enough learn how to hack a phone, learn how to hack a computer, and that's it. That's how easy it is to get hacked, y'all. That's why all these companies are always sending you a code here, sending you a code there. You got to put in your password 1,000,000 times and blah, 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 because they know how easy it is for people to get hacked or people to hack you. And that's the only thing that makes sense. What else makes sense? He had to have hacked her phone. He had to have hacked even her computer. If I had to guess, the computer probably came second, because most people use Instagram on their phone. See what I'm saying? So let's listen to the last
I am not
piece
Joe
here.
Goldberg of the effing internet. Before
To remind you that 60% of sales on Amazon come from independent sellers. Tracy from Lily's.
Done not defending myself. I'm done not respecting myself. I am not Joe Goldberg of the effing internet. Before Liz, I was in a 1-year relationship with
Okay, this is him trying to defend himself. Okay.
most toxic, manipulative, lying, cheating, and narcissistic person I know. After that relationship ended, all I felt was bad.
Let me go back because I feel like we
I
missed
prayed
it.
for them.
Okay.
Of the effing internet. Before Liz, I was in a 1-year relationship with the most toxic, manipulative, lying, cheating, and narcissistic person I know. After that relationship ended, all I felt was bad for them. I began healing, I prayed for them, I never spoke publicly about what I endured, because why keep giving them my energy? However, now that they feel they have permission to jump on this international land and hate train, they took this viral opportunity, which they have nothing to do with, to dox me, leak my work number, and make up lies, saying whatever they can for their own personal and monetary gain. I'm done not defending myself. Congratulations for proving yourself a fool. I am no longer going to be effed with. He then posted these photos, which I have to blur, but there's basically scars on the back of his neck. And he says, 1, how crazy is it for your abuser to claim you physically
No, the males are so degenerate and gay. Imagine calling, did you see that girl? You expect us to believe that she can inflict that much damage to where you're calling her an abuser? He's full of crap. He's full of just as much crap as that toilet behind him in this picture will hold. Why is there a toilet behind you right here, sir? Probably because you just got done taking a crap and now you're full of crap all over again. Because there's a toilet right here. I wish I could zoom in because there's a toilet right there in the background. No, not him trying to be like, no, my abuser. This is like a narcissist. This is a complete psycho, y'all. Do not get stuck with a male that's like this. Do not get stuck. Yes, I agree, Jean. It's like a whole yes, that whole therapist. I told y'all. I always come with receipts. I always, because I was like, I'm pretty sure, she even said, y'all, like when I was like, she said it. She said that she found a new therapist and y'all heard her, right? She found a new therapist and this guy found her therapist and started seeing her therapist. That is a whole You episode. That's why I said this is insane. As soon as I give up Netflix, this is it's a whole You episode, except even crazier because we're watching it in real life. It's insane. It's insane, y'all. And then imagine trying to make it seem like he's the victim, he's the abuse. This is a psychopath. I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Liz is also a narcissist. She might be a narcissist as well. But I don't think she's a psychopath. I think this guy is a narcissist and a psychopath. I'm not just saying, I mean literally. I mean like literally, right? Because what are you talking about? Like, it's like they're so, I don't know if they're living on a different planet. Everyone already came out. The women don't like you. You've been dragged through the mud. Like, the women keep insulting you. They think you're a degenerate. They've told you that. They left comments on your page saying that. And now you want to come out as if you didn't, like, you're just a brand new victim who no one knows who his name is, saying, look, I'm a victim. Look, she's my accuser. Like, what planet are you living on? The same planet as the rest of us? It's like they come out acting or pretending like they don't know that they're not liked, or they don't know that they're hated. It's like, what? No one is gonna, or maybe it's just their lack of common sense. Like, because what? Like, it's totally insane, y'all.
You have never and would never hit a woman even when they hit you, and you endured many instances of physical abuse from them. Many instances provable in court. My attorneys will see you there.
That's not too hard for me to believe, because a lot of times when you get with an unhealthy male like this, let me tell you one of the consequences of that. You are capable of putting hands on that male, because you're putting yourself in a situation where you're going through emotional turmoil on a regular basis. He started out being a psycho. He's going to turn you into a psycho. Okay. That's my favorite saying. What is my favorite saying that I've always said? Okay. But everyone knows the common saying, behind every successful man, there's a woman. Okay. But I don't know why everyone just stops there. Okay. So if behind every successful man, there's a woman, then what's behind every psycho woman? Behind every psycho woman is a male species. Okay. Behind every psycho woman is a male species. Always and forever. Always and forever.
Ask yourself what their motivation is for doing something. Here's another example of lying, saying, I creepily Joe Goldberg style found the same therapist when we moved to Miami, LOL. And he says, this was our old therapist, by the way, and it shows a screenshot where apparently this therapist says, hi Landon, how are you managing? He says, not well, blank, which I guess he was referring to his ex. Felt she had permission to just come out and post false things about
Sir, police, I think these are fake. Like, be so for real. Like, are you serious? And then he cut it off. You can't even see the number. At least the receipts that she presented had his name in there, had his phone number. She doxed him. So we know I'm using it correctly now, right? Doxed. Y'all, in the last live, I kept saying doxed. I feel like I show like, no, you're not hip, clearly, if you don't even know what doxed means. I kept saying doxed, and then I'm glad y'all told me, but I'm using it correctly. She doxed him, right? Like, so we know she has his information. She shared his contact information, and the Wizard Liz confirmed that is his information, because she said now she doxed him. Now people are sending him emails and texts telling him to unalive himself. So if she's lying, if this other girl is lying, then how did she have the real phone number of this guy? How did she have the real email address of this guy? That's probably why she did it, so that it would be harder for you to sit there and try to call her a liar. Okay. This guy doesn't even have any of that. There's nothing here that tells us. I feel like everything that has come out of his mouth thus far has been a lie. There's no reason for me to believe that this is not a lie as well, you know. Lala, I don't know about that, girl. I don't know. I plead the fifth on that one. But I made previous videos from like, I think a year or 2 years ago on how I feel about that.
Relationship, saying that I somehow reverse engineered finding you as my therapist because I somehow knew she went to you. Reverse engineered, you both were initially supposed to come for a couple session, and then we had one individual session first. Now, I'm not saying these messages are fake, but it's so easy to fake messages on iMessage, just saying. He then posted this story writing, imagine how much trauma this inflicts on someone who actually wants to be a great father.
Heck
so much
no!
These are
The audacity is killing me, y'all. Like, I just can't. It's like, these are the type of things that make me question, why do I have to exist on the same planet as males? Why can't the males just go away, disappear forever? Why? Because imagine you trying to say, I'm just trying to be a good father, when you just cheated on the mother of the child who was 4 months pregnant. Like, how do I contain what I'm like? I can't. Why are they here? Why do they exist? Why are males here? Why do you have to be here? Why don't you just disappear from the planet? Like, like, how can you try to elicit sympathy from the public after you literally just got exposed for cheating on your pregnant wife, who was, or so-called wife, soon to be wife, whatever she was, 4 months pregnant? 4 months pregnant. And in the messages, we looked at it in the first live where we talked about this. You steady denied the relationship the whole time. I'm not married. I don't even know who that is. Who's that? He didn't say who's that, but like, he might as well have been like, I've never even heard of that woman in my life. She looks psycho. Like, I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who she is. He might as well have said it. He might as well have just said that, because he denied the relationship. It reminds me of that story in the Bible. Was it Judas that denied Jesus like 3 times? Y'all, what are we doing here? By the way, I'm not a religion person. I do not advocate for that, in my opinion. But that's what it reminded me of. He just steady denied the relationship, and now he has the audacity to come here and say like, oh, but I'm just trying to be a good dad. Like, I could literally I can't, like, I wake up and I'm like, well, why do males exist? Why are they here? Like, just disappear forever, bro. Seriously.
Text messages, if I'm pregnant with your baby, then we're going to do the mature thing and get rid of it, and you'll fund that whole excursion. Have a great life, Landon. If I am pregnant, I'm going to send you the bill for my treatment. Captions it, fake pregnancy / manipulations. To think she was doing all this lying while meeting sugar daddies. I thought this was real. He posts this, writing serial liar, by the way, and then he posts a bunch of text messages. Found out they talked for a month, made out, and went to Mexico together.
Girl,
he had a sense of the person.
He's having a whole fight with his ex. This is just, to me, this is just embarrassing to the wizard Liz. This is just embarrassing for her, because he's over here fighting with his ex in public. When males are going back and forth with you like this, that probably means that he was never even over this girl. I don't think he was over her. I mean, he's so triggered by the whole thing, he couldn't even stay quiet about it, and this is just embarrassing, because imagine if it were like in person and these two are just arguing with each other and the wizard Liz is just standing there looking like a whole clown, looking like super dumb, watching these two couples. I mean, they might as well be a couple, bicker, go back and forth, arguing with each other. No, you were the narcissist. No, you abused me. No, you this and that. Girl, my ego couldn't take it. The embarrassment. Like, they sound like two people that have been married for years going back and forth with each other. So the only L here is the wizard Liz, who's sitting there with this degenerate's child, by the way, while he sits here going back and forth with a whole another woman on social media and confirming everything that this whole another woman said. Because the wizard Liz called this other woman a liar. She was like, I don't know if this stuff is true. I feel like she's lying. I feel like she's this and that, making stuff up. He just confirmed everything that this Abby chick said. He was like, no, but she was abusive too. She did this to me too. Look, she did this. So it's true. Everything, they were in a relationship together. This is Abby's perception. This is her perception of how the relationship went. This is what she's saying. So the whole thing is true. All in the meanwhile, the wizard Liz lady was sitting here calling her a liar. Meanwhile, your male, the male that's supposed to be your male, is sitting here arguing with this woman in public for everyone to see. And I'm watching it like, is this a K-drama? Because the way they're going back and forth, I'm like, are y'all married? What's this? Right. And the guy is super emotional about it. Look, she abused me and this and that and da, 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 da. In public, the public humiliation and embarrassment is surreal. The males, this is what they'll do. They'll bring you public humiliation and embarrassment that you never even knew could exist. She was standing up for this guy. The wizard Liz was standing up for him. She was like, oh, I don't want him to unalive himself. She's lying. She's a liar. Calling other women names, saying that they're liars, this and that. She's a liar. She's a liar. I don't want him to. And then he comes out here and starts arguing with this girl, confirming everything. Look at the text messages. So confirmed. Was I dating her? Confirmed. Were we in a pretty intimate relationship? Confirmed. Did we have physical altercations? Confirmed. Girl, what? In public. I'm telling you. Oh. Any downfall that a woman goes through, there's usually going to be a male behind every woman's downfall as well. Insane. Surreal.
Thank God I saved all our messages. 5, imagine dropping your girlfriend off at the airport.
Thank God I saved all of our messages. I didn't even think of that. He still has all the messages. He still has all of her messages. Baby, what? I don't know how this would be so hard for me to process through if I was the wizard Liz, because it's like she just made herself look even dumber. Even more like an idiot, even more like a psycho. I mean, this guy, isn't he supposed to be your perfect guy? He literally has all these messages from his ex, bro. He still has that on his phone. And he's not a woman. He's a male. He's a male. It's one thing if it were a woman that still has the messages, because, women are more like with all this emotional stuff, right? But this guy's a male keeping messages from his ex, bro. So he was never over this girl. He's probably still not over this girl. And to make matters worse, this makes it even worse. Did we take a look at this girl? This Abby chick, she does not look nothing like the wizard Liz. Okay, this girl is blonde. She has colored eyes. She looks YT to me. Looks nothing like the wizard Liz. And the fact that the way this is going, this tells me that this is his preference. Not the wizard Liz. The wizard Liz is not his preference. This is his preference. So you're not even his type. Oh, y'all, this is the more I process through this, the more insane. So you're not even his type, bruh. You're not even his type. Everyone knows males have a type. Everyone knows that. They'll sleep with anything and everything, but they still have a type. This is his type. Oh, y'all. Are y'all ready to, as we start wrapping up, wrap up with just brief updates on the Dusty Diddy case? Because that's where we are as of right now with this, y'all. It's insane. So the more we talk about it, the more I talk about this, the more I process through this, I'm like, wait a second. This is this guy's type. And also, I believe that there was probably physical altercations between the both of them in that relationship. So you already know that that's a relationship that has a very, very strong trauma bond between these two. You can't easily break a trauma bond. A trauma bond is it's so hard to break, especially when it comes to males. Males get really, really codependent. How much do you want to bet if this girl were to go back to him, he'd be like, "Over." You think he would say no? Girl, please. You think he would say no? No, the wizard Liz is the love of my blood. No, girl, what? What? Insane, y'all. Totally insane. Let me know if you have any other thoughts on this, because this is insane. I mean, this looks nothing like "Oh girl." I heard from the grapevine that he even tried to tell the wizard Liz to dye her hair blonde. Did the wizard Liz ever go blonde? We should look into that, because if she went blonde between July and now we know why she went blonde. Because I heard from the grapevine, I don't know if it's true, but I did hear from the grapevine that he tried to tell the wizard Liz to dye her hair blonde or something like that. I don't remember where I heard that from, but I heard it from somewhere. I'm not even trying to be messy. Y'all, I come here with receipts. Like, so by the next time that we do a live, might be tomorrow. We might do another live tomorrow, because I told y'all I'm trying to catch up on the topics that I want to make sure we make a video on, we document, we put on the YouTubes. I might be able to find that wherever I saw it at. He looks nerdy. Oh no, I don't know if he's nerdy or gay, y'all. I don't know. It's cutting too close for me. I can't make a call. He does look more nerdy in this picture. You're right. He looks a little bit more nerdy in this picture. So y'all, let's see what the updates are as we start wrapping up. Let's take a look at like updates, Dusty Diddy case. And we'll wrap up with that. That'll be like a good wrap up. Now, when it comes to the Dusty Diddy case, y'all, nothing really happened today. I feel like that was a super huge change from where we were yesterday. I made a live on the Dusty Diddy case where we are currently. I made that live yesterday. So if you want to catch up on that and just chill, relax, listen to that podcast style. By the way, I'm so happy I did the podcast style, because now I can do both. I don't have to like miss a live. It takes pressure off of me, because even if I don't feel like getting all dressed or whatever, I can just do like a podcast style. I'll usually tell y'all. And then I always think, why did you tell them that you weren't dressed? And that was the reason why. I said, I don't know, because that was the reason why. It's like, I'm looking crazy. I might be in my robe or something like, okay. So now I have more options. So it worked out really well. But if you want to catch up on that Dusty Diddy trial after this, make sure to do that. But we're today kind of like in a similar place with that Dusty Diddy trial, with the Dusty Diddy case, y'all, as we kind of start to wrap up a little bit here. Nothing much has happened. The defense, so Dusty Diddy's team of lawyers, y'all know that he literally, a lot of what I say is literal. I know I might joke a lot, but a lot of what I say, most of what I say is literal. He hired, I think, 10 to 11 lawyers. He has at least 10 lawyers. This degenerate male species literally hired 10 lawyers. So he has 10 lawyers, 10 of the best lawyers at that. You know what I'm saying? And even these lawyers have been struggling the whole time. Like, you can't, people always say make lemonade out of lemons, but you can't make lemonade out of apples or oranges. You can't like make something that does not exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've been struggling to defend this guy. It's insane. It got even crazier today. I mean, tell me why the defense, he has 10 lawyers. You could Google it. Google me on that. Because I literally, when I'm saying the entertainment makes itself. Y'all, I'm trying to tell you. I don't even have to make it up. I don't even have to make it up. It's like, this is what's actually happening. The entertainment makes itself. He has 10 lawyers. At a point, I think he even had 11 lawyers. I'm not sure if he went back down to 10 lawyers, but I know he has a minimum of 10 lawyers. A minimum. Okay. A minimum. Okay. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Markin. Exactly. So anyway, so today the lawyers have been struggling, fighting for their lives in this trial. Dusty Diddy's lawyers are just, they're kind of like bullies, and you can tell that he's telling them what to say. He's like telling the lawyers what to say. And this just shows me even more like, look, when like, males are so emotional, you know what I mean? Like, they're so emotional, they're in their feelings. He can't take it. He can't stand it. Like, all of the things that the women are saying about him on the stand, you can tell that he's wanting to like push back against the narrative. So the lawyers, his lawyers, when they question the witnesses, when they question the victims, his lawyers then start saying idiotic things like, and this is what they were saying today too, because today they spent all of their time continuing the line of questioning to the current victim. So Diddy's today, what they did today in court was Diddy's team continued to ask the victim questions that they wanted to ask the victim, basically. That's all they did today for the most part, right? And so they were asking really, really stupid questions, y'all. I mean, like, they were struggling. Like, the Diddy's team is struggling. Like, they were asking questions like, so you said you didn't want to be in the relationship, but you stayed in the relationship. Is that correct? And so the victim would be like, yeah. It was just like that. It was like stuff that was just like, what? But what I've noticed is like the males, it works on the males. And because over 60 to 70% of the jury is made up of males, like a lot of males are very like surface level. They're not able to think in depth, you know? So I feel like this is something that might work on the males, even though it has nothing to do with the case. Oh, but you stayed with him, right? But you're a 3 or 4, right? And it's like, what does this have to do with the case? You know, so they're just on stand wasting time. But let's take a look at some of the updates here. Yeah, court is mostly males as well. Oh, is it mostly males in the court as well? Maybe. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, it should have been the majority women. I don't know. At the beginning of the case, I thought it was the majority women, and it turns out that it's not, which is very unfortunate. All right, y'all, let's see.
Trial is finishing cross-examination of one of the rapper's ex-girlfriends. But first, the judge called a private meeting with the prosecution, defense, and lawyer for the woman testifying as Jane. Yesterday, defense attorneys tried to use Jane's own text messages to show she willingly took part in Combs' sex life and is not the victim of force or coercion. At one point, she cried so hard on the witness stand she couldn't even finish reading those texts. Now, the prosecution says they expect to rest their case next week. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. ABC's Rena Roy and legal contributor, criminal defense attorney Shauna Lloyd are outside that courthouse. So, Rena, what's the latest on this private meeting?
Well, Diane, we know that there were several issues discussed behind closed doors, and that one of them involved whether or not non-alleged victims who take the stand can use pseudonyms. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo argued that they should go on the record with their real name so that when someone hears about testimony who's outside of the trial and they might have information about that testimony, that they can come forward and offer to testify. And they were specifically discussing an issue from 2024 when Jane testified that she flew to Las Vegas with a friend of hers who's a famous rapper and then went to a hotel room where she saw a male escort named Anton having sex with a woman while that rapper and his girlfriend watched. She testified that that escort was somebody that she previously had a hotel night with along with Combs. The prosecution, though, wants to keep those pseudonyms, and they say that sufficient information about that event specifically and about Jane have been disclosed. Diane.
Shauna, what does this mean for the trial going forward?
What this means going forward is essentially the defense is lodging this idea. Trials are supposed to be public. They are open to everyone to come and see. And the reason historically has been so that information can be gotten from anyone who knows.
Yeah, trials are supposed to be public. And that's another thing, y'all. They've been hiding a lot from the public. So who do you think they're trying to protect? Because again, I keep reminding people, we're so focused on Diddy that we're forgetting that Diddy didn't even have enough money to protect him against this mess. He was working for people that are even stronger than him, that have even more money than him. Who do you think was probably watching those tapes? Do we really believe like Dusty Diddy was making those tapes so he could be the only one watching it? No way. I think he was putting them on live videos, probably selling these things on the dark web, and probably had richer males, more powerful males who were watching these interactions live in color while the interactions were happening. That's what I think is going on, in my opinion. Yeah, Diddy's sons and moms are still free. The witnesses are not safe. Agreed. 100% agreed. Yes, so can be. 100%. Like, the sons and the moms, I've said it before, especially the mom. I think I was like, where did she come from? The deepest parts of Hades? Because what? Insane. And the incest vibes I get, I made a podcast about it. Like the incest vibes I get from those two, I hate to say it, but now anything is possible in Hollywood. Apparently, she just said, like, they were testifying today, talking about it too, I think a little bit today, where the witness said that there was a time where she flew to a party. She walked into the party, and guess what she saw when she walked into the party? She saw Dusty D. No, sorry, it wasn't Dusty D. She saw a rapper. I think she said a rapper having SCX with a woman just right there in the middle of like the room or something. Y'all, this is why I say just burn down the whole entertainment industry, because that's insane. Yeah, he had a former yes, we all know who that was, so can be, or we should know who that is former and present. Two of them. That's what I think. Former and present. Both of them. That's what I think. I think they're all intertwined. The politics is intertwined with the entertainment industry. The business owners, like the alcohol company that he was working with, and then he got carried away and threatened the alcohol company. Like he literally, Dusty Diddy was Ciroc. Dusty Diddy was working with Ciroc, promoting Ciroc. A lot of BLK people, I never understood that because Ciroc doesn't taste good to me. But a lot of like BLK people, like he really made that successful. He made Ciroc like a success, and then got carried away, got greedy, and allegedly threatened Ciroc with telling people that Ciroc is racist and that, you know, they're making, which they probably are, what, you know, who knows, right? And that's where his situation got even worse. And so as soon as Cassie came out with her stuff, it just gave everyone an opportunity to cut the cord and feed him off to the wolves, basically, you know? Do I do online consultations? I might start it. It just depends. I've thought about doing online consultations before. So it might be something that we are able to do. I would have to do that on my Patreon though. I would have to do it on the Patreon. So if you guys are interested in online consultations, join the Patreon. And that's definitely something that we could do, is online consultations for sure. I don't mind doing that. But make sure to join the Patreon, because that's the only way I'd be able to do it. And that would be the only way to also build a tighter community, because sometimes I also want to do more lives specifically for the members. So the only way to build that community is if you guys join the Patreon, if you guys join the, but I don't think there's a way of doing that. If you guys know of a way, but I don't think there's a way of doing it on YouTube. But yes, that's something that I'm open to doing. Most definitely, Freedom. So Lala said, I'd love to know your thoughts on Justin Haley and the new girl. My thoughts are so a lot of people are like, what? That, you know, there a lot of times it's perspectives that people probably maybe haven't thought about. Which tier should you join for that? I think it's the 3rd or the 4th tier. That's the one that you'll have to join. I took it, I'll have to like add it on there and we can try it out, because I've heard some people are super insane and, you know, but I'm open to trying out the consultation. So join I think I only have 3 tiers, whichever one is the 3rd or the 4th tier, like the highest tier, join that one. Because if I do like low, I don't want to be, I also have like other businesses outside of like this. And so I don't want to be bombarded with a bunch of requests that I won't be able to manage, right? So it's going to be probably the highest tier. That's what you'll want to join, is the highest tier, or the one before the highest tier. I can't remember, but I believe it's the highest tier. So that way it helps with like filtering out my time and making sure that I'm like using my time well, and being able to also be more present when talking to y'all, when talking to you one-on-one. Like I can be present, I can kind of be more focused. I don't have to like worry, you know. So join I believe it's the highest tier. But that's something that I would definitely be open to and I would love. So you guys just join the Patreon so that we can start building a community over there as well. You know, that's the only way to build it, y'all. That's the only way to build it. Yeah, just audio calls, not video. Yeah, I think that would be the way. It would be through probably the Patreon app, because I think Patreon has that function. Yeah. And it could even be, if you want to send, what I was really thinking of doing I wasn't really even thinking of doing the audio. I was thinking of doing it via chat, via text, where you have the ability to like text me like specific like questions or your thoughts, and I'll answer to you directly with that. Or we can also do an audio, like if you make a request for an audio, I guess we could do that. My idea was to do it via like chat, text, where we can like message. But that would be the best way to do that. You know, that would be the best way to do that for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And it would be through the Patreon app, because I think Patreon has the functionalities already like there, where, you know, you can message safely. You can do voice. I don't even know that you can do like a video on there, maybe, but I know you can like do like voice, maybe even like voice responses. It might just be like, maybe you send me like a voice message and then I can respond, you know? So I know Patreon, that's why I like it, because it has different options to it, and they already have like the built-in security stuff as well. So that would be the way to do it for sure. Hi, Sonia. Thanks for joining. Yeah, but Freedom, I'm looking forward to speaking with you if you want to do that, right? So, and y'all get on the Patreon as well. So that's the only way that we'll be able to build the community, right? Because a lot of these functions YouTube doesn't have. YouTube just doesn't have the function, right? So yes. Works as well. Yeah, exactly. That's what I like. And I think you can do it like with the voice recordings. Like if you like record and then like I respond with the voice recordings, that's the piece that I saw somewhere that they have the functionality for that. Either that or like chat texting also. That was the idea that I was playing around with, right? So, yep, for sure, for sure. Thanks for asking, Freedom. Thanks for asking. Okay, so with the case, where did we leave off with this case, y'all? So with this case has been completely insane. They've been trying to blame the victims because Diddy really has, there's no, like the lawyers have nothing to work with, y'all. I'm trying to say, like, the lawyers don't really have anything to work with. So they're just basically doing the best that they can with what they have. So they're sitting there asking really dumb questions. Now, I feel like, listen, like it's both, okay? Like so can be mentioned one. I think there's at least two that we know of that are intermingled with Dusty Diddy. And that's only that we know of. I can see the pattern, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's no way that the entertainment industry isn't intermingled with the politics. There's no way. There's no way that the entertainment industry isn't connected with politics, and the big companies, they're all connected, y'all. And that's what I was talking about, was the Ciroc. Yes, girl. Clinton and yup. I'm not saying the names because of the live, but yup, exactly. That's what I think, most definitely. And I think it's like, because I'm reading this book right now, and it goes in depth, tells you how all of these political structures started. And one of the things that it starts telling you about is the fact that, like, a lot of political structures were put in place. Hopefully I don't get demonetized, y'all. Were put in place to fight or counteract the mafia. Literally the mafia, right? The mafia, right? Back in the day. And in their attempt to fight the mafia, in the police's attempt, the government's attempt to fight the mafia, they started working with some of them. Like, they would catch some and then start working with them to catch more of them. And in doing that, now guess what? Slowly but surely, now you have people from the mafia invading the police space. And now you have people from the police who came originally from the mafia who are also now invading the government space. It's insane, y'all. It's like a whole thing. I'm reading that book, my jaw's on the ground. Say what? It's wild. It goes into more than that. I just started the book, girl, and that's already what it's talking about. Insane. It gives you names, it gives you proof, it gives you everything, to where you it's not even like well, maybe it's just no. There's names in there. There's proof in there. It goes back chronologically, y'all. It's totally insane. So yeah, they're all intertwined. Why everyone is focused on Diddy, and Diddy is probably at the lowest level. Who's watching those tapes? Probably on live. Kim Kardashian. What does she know that the rest of us didn't know? Because I heard from the grapevine that she does a lot of performances of this ilk, of these sex parties, because that's how they get down within the industry. Okay. And then, so this case has been super private, y'all. They've been super secretive, which is really annoying, because what you're using are taxpayer funds to pursue this case, but yet telling us that we can't have access to the details of the case. Make it make sense. Just to get one transcript, do y'all know how much they're charging to get one transcript? If you want to get one transcript, it's like $950 or something for one transcript for one day. That's how much they're charging for you to get the transcript. So basically, you don't even have access to the transcripts. The people don't even have access to what they're paying for, because they have to, the scam goes so deep that they have to protect all of these predators that are right in front of our faces, occupying political offices, places of power, winning elections, having to bend over backwards to hide this from the people that are paying the money for you to prosecute this degenerate male. So every 2 seconds during the case, what you hear is sidebar, Sidebar, like the lawyers are always calling sidebars. So when they call a sidebar, all the lawyers, not all of them, but the main lawyers will walk up to the judge's table or whatever, and they have, all you hear as the spectator is little whispers like, no, whatever. You're not really able to make out what's going on. Very secretive for a reason. Who are you protecting, and why have we only been hearing about Diddy and not about who was funding Diddy to begin with? The guy wasn't rich. He didn't grow up rich. Okay, and now we know that a lot of his money didn't come from making music, that degenerate male. So who was funding him? Who was giving him all this money? How was he able to escape the law for this long? How was he able to get away with all of these things? I'm just saying, like, I hate to be, I mean, if it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. I piece all these things together. You could tell me something from like, and as soon as I find the missing piece to the puzzle, I'll bring whatever you told me from like wherever, and I'll be like, oh, that's where that's where that puzzle piece goes. It goes right here. And then I have like the picture. Girl, I'm trying to say, like, especially even with people that come to me with their problems and stuff, that's how I'm able to like solve it for them. A lot of times I have to solve it for them because otherwise it will take too long for them to like get to the solution by themselves. So like they'll tell me stuff and I just bring, okay, this piece goes here, this piece goes here. We put these two together. It's right there. It's right there. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it makes sense, it makes sense. Connecting the dots. Exactly, Sonia. Okay. Now, with the argument that I don't even want to say his name on my live. The current president was arguing with the Tesla degenerate bro. You know what I'm saying? And they were arguing there. Of course, they were arguing back and forth and stuff like that. Right. And one of the things that he said was, oh, because you were on the list. He accused the current president of being on the list. What list? The list that they waited for us to forget about? The Epstein, I'm not mispronouncing his name, the Epstein list or whatever, however you pronounce it. That list, y'all. That list never came out. We already knew that this guy was on there, and then some. Some previous presidents were on there too. That's what I think. You know who I'm talking about. He came out in this case too. His name starts with an O. Okay. The current one, his name is definitely on there. For sure. And then some. The one starting with a C. Was it Soaking B that said it? Yup. I surely do believe it. I surely do. Because we haven't seen a wink of that list thus far. Okay. You can't get away with all this stuff without power. There's no way. You can't get away with the stuff Diddy was doing without power. He was servicing someone. Who was he servicing? Who? Not even who, but like what industry, what group? I'm not gonna lie. I think they're all made up of the mafia. Because if I keep going, it's gonna be y'all. The mafia, girl. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So today in court, we had a lot of the same things, you know, and you just start connecting more and more of these dots, and you're like, even the way that the defense, Diddy's lawyers are defending him, even that's strategic because they don't have any proof that they can use. So what they're using is their knowledge of how males spank. All the males, I covered it in the live yesterday, they are like, they can't get over the hate for women that they have. So every time you ask them about something, they're like, well, I think she's lying because she's a 304. I think she's lying because she was sleeping around. I think she's lying. saying things that have nothing to do with the case. So guess what the lawyers are doing? The lawyers are focusing on trying to defame her, basically trying to defame the victims. Well, she's a 304. Well, she just left. Meanwhile, none of that has anything to do with the actual case, y'all. The actual case is racketeering. You're not on trial for being the worst boyfriend ever. You're not on trial for you're not even on trial for DV. You're literally on trial for racketeering. Like, you already lost at least 2 weeks ago. It only took them like 4 or 5 weeks to make their case. At least that's how long it took me to be like, they got him. They got this guy. It's done. It's over with. This case was over 1 to 2 weeks ago. And that's coming from because I took my time with it, listening to the case. Can they win it? Can they, so I took my time. I didn't just jump into the conclusion. And by the 4th week or so, I was like, they got this guy. It's over with. And we don't even have all the data. It's just barely from the stuff that we're able to hear from the people that are there. I was like, there's no way. Because if you're going just based on the racketeering piece, what's racketeering? Coercion, fraud. Okay. You're transporting males for the purpose of sexual activity across state lines. That's one right there. And every single one of the witnesses have testified to that happening. And they've been showing text messages, written proof in court. They only need 2 to prove racketeering. That's one right there. Another one, illegal drugs. All these videos that you were holding, all this proof that you were holding, all these videos on top of the heads of people and stuff like that. That's the second one right there. They have proof. So that's what the defense is doing. That's what they're trying to do. That's how they're trying to approach it, because they don't really have a case. But what I think the biggest concern is, again, the jury. The jury is made up of mostly males. So there is a very real chance, y'all, that they let their bros off the hook. There's a very real chance they're going to let their bros off the hook and the lawyers know that. Diddy's lawyers know that. So that's where we are with this. I think there's only like 2 minutes left of this. So let's see, y'all.
From anyone who knows about it. Now, they're arguing that this is an infringement on Jane's privacy because these are people that she's connected to and events that she participated in. The defense is rebutting that, though. They want these names to be public because what they're saying is if there is some information out there that could either be used to impeach her or discredit some of the testimony that is being given, that they want those people to come forward. So this could change the dynamic and the credibility of her if they come forward.
Shauna, the prosecution said yesterday they expect to rest the case next week, Wednesday or Friday, depending, but by Friday, they say. What are you watching for as the defense starts calling witnesses?
So what I'm expecting for when the prosecution wraps up is someone to bring it all together. There's either
also
a bodyguard or someone who's
another update from today.
So the defense,
is apparently like
we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail, the ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small.
Apparently, y'all, there's been a lot of drama with the jury. They've had to replace at least one of them thus far, because they keep backups. I didn't realize this until this case. They keep backup jury people, which is like, duh, that makes sense. Now that it's been brought to my attention, I'm like, oh yeah, because what if one of them drops off, something happens to one of the jury people, the people on the jury. So they keep backups. I think they have at least enough backups to replace at least half of them. Why I didn't even think of that, don't know. So I think they've replaced at least one of the jury people. I don't know if they've replaced 2. It sounded like they might have replaced 2, but I'm gonna listen to some more to make sure. But I know that they've replaced at least one of them. Why? Because the jury was sitting there getting cozy with Diddy. They would smile, give Diddy certain looks, like they were really cozy with this guy. And I don't know that that's the only reason why. I think something happened. They didn't give us the details of, obviously, they just kind of told us, well, because of some general reason, we're replacing this juror. So everyone's kind of just speculating for the most part as to why they did that. And today, I guess this is Make It Make Sense. He's pretty decent as well. I haven't been watching him as much when it comes to this because the titles that he's been naming his videos sound really anti the victims, and I don't want to like traumatize myself, but he's really good too. So he's talking about, he's really good when it comes to like reporting and stuff typically. But he's not one of the ones I've been following for the case because of the titles of his videos. I don't want to take the risk of like just not traumatizing myself, but getting irate, you know, like what is going on? Like, why are we not supporting victims? But he made this video warning to all Diddy content creators. So there's been, this case has been crazy. I think there's some serious demonic energy, and it's coming out around Diddy, everything around him. Everything is like chaos. I heard that in the courts, there's people fighting, literally physically fighting, getting into fights outside of the courts. Literally in front of the cops and everything, like getting into physical altercations, getting into verbal arguments where they're cursing each other out, getting into like physical fights outside of the courts. Inside of the court, there was like a crazy lady that somehow made her way all the way into the court and started saving. And started yelling in the middle of the trial, started yelling, they're trying to tarnish your legacy. They're trying to tarnish your legacy. Now, was that particular person hired? Potentially. But all of this is happening around Dusty Diddy, demonic energy. I'm trying to tell y'all, seriously. So now again today, you know, there's been something happened where they're considering releasing even less information to the public. I think a YouTuber, I think the problem is someone doxed or is doxing or trying to dox whoever it is that's testifying. So trying to expose them, whoever it is that's testifying. And that person that's testifying needs to remain anonymous. So this problem where the public keeps trying to guess who is it that's testifying keeps coming up in court. And Diddy keeps trying to use this to his advantage to get a mistrial. He's trying to get a mistrial because he knows he's cooked. He knows he's done. So his lawyers have been trying to get him a mistrial. So Diddy's team keeps bringing this up as a problem. Like, look, they keep trying to guess. As to what the identity of the person testifying is. They've posted it online. They've done this. So this keeps coming up in court. So I think this is what he's talking about. I think this is really the only other major thing I would say from today's case. Apart from that, they just kind of wasted a lot of time, did a lot of sidebars, and Diddy's team kept asking a lot of stupid questions. But remember, keep in mind that it's mostly males on the jury. So males don't have a brain. They're very surface level. So we could see like, okay, these are stupid questions, but it could potentially, and it sounds like it might be working for the males because most of the jury is made up of males, you know? So let's see really quickly here. And we're wrapping up here, y'all, as we kind of close out, you know, this is the last piece that we'll be looking at.
Got to talk about the mess going on in the courtroom and how to stop it. It's getting out of hand and people are getting exposed. Like the video's intro plays, we got a lot to get into and we do not have a lot of time. Make it make sense. Make it make sense to me intellectually. Make it make sense.
You know. This is so funny. His intro is funny.
I avoid it because I don't really need it, but that's not the point. You all, the content creators, have been tagging me in so many videos about other content creators and who might have exposed Jane and who might have exposed Mia, and I get it. The problem is, and you guys, once I say it, you're going to think, wow, that was extremely simple. I don't know why I didn't think of this first. If your goal is to protect a victim or protect a witness that is supposed to remain anonymous, great. But if your goal is to get back at another content creator that you may not like, or you don't like the way that they're moving, it is extremely short-sighted to think, I'm going to put them in a video and show every time they have exposed a witness, because now you are exposing the witness. It's not too hard. I mean, we all make our content. I'm usually the one that says, get it how you live. However, in this.
Yeah, so it became a problem in court today. They had like the longest sidebar ever in history because the Diddy team keeps trying to get this case done, thrown out, right? And so this is a big issue because they keep saying, well, people that are supposed to be private are not private. The reporters keep I'm so glad I didn't fully cover this thing, because this is a mess, you know. This thing's a mess, y'all. I knew I wasn't gonna want to put myself through that. But yeah, so now YouTubers, specifically YouTubers, are coming up in court where the judge, everyone is taking a look at it, and they're trying to see if there's a reason to throw out the case because YouTubers keep exposing people and whatever else when it comes to, it's all about the doxing aspect, which I know I'm using that correctly now, hopefully, you know.
Particular situation, even if you don't like the witness or you have no desire to protect the witness who should remain anonymous.
Yes, girl, he was buying, yeah, so King B, he was buying girl, he was buying supporters, paying them $20 an hour to wear a free Diddy t-shirt. And I think his marketing team is probably doing way more than just that. Probably. Yes, he surely was.
What would be the point of risking your channel or getting admonished by the court? I'm in the courtroom. I sit and I listen after.
Even if you exercise regularly, you may be at risk for heart attack or stroke.
I'm in the courtroom. I sit and I listen after things are technically over and the jury has left and the witnesses have left. And basically what they are saying is there will eventually be investigations. See, whatever they do now sets a precedent for it later on. For any of you who do want to cover these court cases, you cannot move. You can't move so reckless. Again, if you are choosing to make videos of someone exposing a witness, you have just exposed the witness to your own subscribership. So what would be the point? Moreover, it's your duty, your obligation as a content creator who wants to follow this, to literally follow the rules of the court. Now, content creators don't have like the same journalistic integrity. I get it, but you want to move a little different, especially since your channel might now be in jeopardy. If they say they want to hold you in contempt, you can read through what SDNY's contempt of court options are. Some of those are jail time. It doesn't take anything for them to go to Google, get your real name, and then proceed accordingly. So just a warning to all content creators who are exposing other content creators who are exposing the witness. You are now exposing the witness. So figure it out. I can't tell you what to do. I can just tell you it's probably not a good look since the feds are looking into it. But while we're on Diddy.
So the feds are looking into it. So that's what I was saying, y'all. Like, so they are going back and forth. It's causing a big problem in the court with people exposing other people and people trying to guess who this person is or who that person is. And I guess it's becoming a bigger and bigger problem, apparently, especially with the YouTubers that are covering this stuff, I guess. Yeah, so I think that was like maybe like the second biggest update really from today, is to learn that they're potentially even considering taking people to jail for exposing other people. Thanks, Sonia. Appreciate you. So they're potentially like thinking of taking people to jail and stuff like that for this. So it's a mess, y'all. So that's the thing. Let me see if there's anything else.
This case has been extremely interesting because Diddy has been allowed to move around like a gangster his entire adult life. But one of the things that was recently unsealed was the fact that Diddy actively knew that there was a device that the government did not have. So he reached out to, actually, let me read it to you really quickly. Let me see. On September 16, 2024, at Following the defendant's arrest, law enforcement executed another search warrant for the hotel room the defendant was occupying, seizing all electronics in the room, including an iPhone 11. They did this all by the book, even though if you have been following it like I have been following it, Diddy was making all kinds of accusations of them seizing things unlawfully. They had a filter team that was supposed to go in and decide what things were privileged between Diddy and his attorney. Well, that didn't work out. Let me see. And they're just data-wise. Has to be a lot of shit in that phone. I didn't delete nothing out of that phone. I'm gonna send you a picture of it now. Approximately 6 hours later, at 5:27, the defendant sent a text message to staff one, "Hey, are you okay? Just let me know you're safe." 2 minutes later, at approximately 5:21, the defendant sent another text asking staff one to have his lawyer, Tinny Garagos, call him. "I have a 911 need to call this phone ASAP. Important." An hour and a half later, at approximately 7:08, the defendant again texted staff one, "Send me Tinny's number. It's important. She needs to know. I can't play these games right now. I need to speak to my lawyer, and I don't have a number. Just send me the phone number, please. Like, I can't even understand why you're not sending my lawyer my number, and I'm telling you I have something majorly important that I have to speak to my lawyer about." Now, y'all, to me, this is sounding a little bit crackish. Maybe let me put my banner up. Maybe like a song right after things started popping off with his dad and himself. You know, the slow one. And he was like, the feds checked the wrong house. Like, most of us did not know that Diddy owned Star Island number 2 and number 1. He's saying that everything was hidden in Star Island number 1. Jane was saying that she was going to Star Island number 1. So he owns both the residents right at the beginning. Like, as soon as you enter Star Island, I want to know what's on this phone. But as you can tell, this is not privileged information. This is not, this man is an idiot. I don't know. This is not a good look. I want to know if we're going to find out specifically what was in that phone. He said nothing was deleted off the hard drive. So that would have been definitely in the Cassie era. I don't know. You tell me what you think in the comments.
So that's where we're at. That's the latest updates with this, y'all. So it's like basically what he was talking about there, I believe, is the aspect where Diddy was saying that there was a time where he really needed to communicate with his lawyers and they weren't letting him communicate with his lawyer. Exactly, the popcorn and everything, girl. Like, they weren't letting him communicate with his lawyers and stuff. And like, they're going back and forth. They've done that a lot during this case in the courtroom. They keep going back and forth over what is privileged information and what is not privileged information. They you know, especially from Diddy's team. Diddy really, his team is a lot of times really trying to fight to keep a lot of these things out of the public eye, probably for obvious reasons. So what's on this phone, they got a hold of his phone. The phone he was using while, I believe this is a phone that he was using while in custody. And now it's a part of the suit, which means, what were you doing even while you were in custody? Probably tampering. Let me not make any assumptions, but apparently what he was doing on this phone was a big enough deal to include here in the paperwork. I don't think they're going to release it. I don't think they're going to let us see it. But this is where we're at currently, you know, from a general high level overview. So y'all let me know what you think about this case. But in summary, so let's go ahead and summarize. We'll probably do a live tomorrow, but it's probably going to be podcast format. Yay. I love the podcast formats. Like, now I'm like, okay, finally, this is going to be good for me as far as more flexibility, being able to do a bit more lives, you know? So we'll see about it, but as of right now, that's the plan. So keep track of the community section. We'll probably do another one tomorrow, podcast format. I need to come to just the acceptance. Like, I'm a podcast girly. Okay. Even in the videos, it's like podcasts. It's all podcast formatted. So keep that in mind. Check out the membership section. Check out the Patreon as well. I love the ideas. At first, the only idea as far as like the communicating, I was thinking maybe via chat, but we'll see if there's like an option for like voice recordings back and forth too, you know. I don't know. I think there might be an option for that on Patreon. So those were really good ideas. So those are some of the updates. But in summary, this is where we're at with some of these things. It's totally insane. It's totally wild. This is why I always say, y'all, stay away from the male species. All of this is the patriarchy playing in real time right in front of us. Playing in real time right in front of us. You know, all the way from males. Why do you think males run away from therapy as if their life depends? Like, none of them come to all my entire caseloads is nothing but women on there. Literally, I might have like 1 or 2 males that are there because the wife wants to leave or the girlfriend wants to leave, right? Then the whole wizard Liz situation, this is what I'm saying when it comes to women being so unsavable. Can't save them, can't help them. They have to literally choose it for themselves. Otherwise, they just complicate your life. So then it ends up being every woman for themselves, basically. What do you want to believe? What do you want to listen to? What type of life do you want? Right? Which then leads me to think, well, goodbye matriarchy. Goodbye matriarchy, right? And then with this Dusty Diddy case, it's insane, y'all. It's totally wild. Like all of this stuff happening. What's next? You know, we haven't even touched base on like job loss, everyone that's losing their job. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow, because guess what? We're about to connect the dots on that too. Job loss connected with AI, connected with the patriarchy, connected with procreating. It's all connected and intertwined. Okay. So we might touch base on that tomorrow too, to see how those connect, or to at least see a little bit about how those connect. Because if you think that it's just because of the economy, it's just a coincidence how more and more people are losing their jobs, think again. And it's, in my opinion, not a coincidence that all of these malfunctionings with technology, with airplanes, all these things have been happening. That's not a coincidence to me. I think that's definitely directly linked to the patriarchy and a lot of other things within this patriarchy, right? And a lot of them go counter nature, of course, right? So we'll see what we discuss tomorrow. But make sure to keep an eye out in the community section. Don't get yourself stuck with a male species. I keep trying to warn the ladies, especially the youngins, don't do it. Okay, don't do it. The most that you can do with the male species is keep a roster, and even then, you can't really sleep with them like that, unless you want to be in danger of catching something. Okay, you got to be super extra duper careful with that as well. Right? You don't want to end up, you know, like the wizard Liz. Unfortunately, she's become a cautionary tale now. Well, you don't want to end up like the wizard Liz, pregnant at 24 or 25. I think it's 24. You know, but you know, I keep track of all this stuff. I'm not like, I watch like, you know, even with I don't know. I really like that word doxing. To me, that word just doesn't sound like what the definition of it is. Doxing just sounds so negative to me. It sounds like insulting someone. You know, when you dox someone, like doxing, it sounds like the definition would be like you're insulting someone, like doxing. So I've had to like get used to not using it for that definition, but I'm in here like keeping track of the drama and everything. It's like, yeah, I'm obsessed with that word. Like, it just sounds like you're insulting. You're doxing me. It just sounds like you're insulting someone anyway. But yeah, so I be on here saying all type of, at a point, I think what I was used to saying, what was another one that I had to stop saying, because everyone's like, why do you keep repeating that? I get used to saying things. I keep repeating it over and over again, but that's where we're at, y'all. I gave up Netflix. I gave up Amazon. And as soon as I did that, a few weeks later, I didn't look back, because I was like, no, I haven't gotten what I want to get yet. So yeah, I'm not going back to any of these subscriptions. Now look, that's what, like, don't be scared to make the moves that you need to make. Give it up if you need to give it up, just give it up. You know, But yeah, y'all, so it's crazy, all this stuff. We're going to keep covering more. So, y'all, let me know if you're interested in talking more about, because there's some super crazy stuff that's come out. Because my YouTube feed is like fairly diversified. So there's some stuff that I was watching about like princess, like pageants. We might cover that tomorrow, about pageants and what it's really like in these pageants, y'all. These pageants, y'all, we might cover that. Let me know if that's something that y'all are interested in. But I think that that's something that y'all would really find interesting. Because I was like, girl, what? Insane. Every aspect of this patriarchy is so dangerous. I can't even describe how dangerous it is for you as a woman. Every little aspect of this patriarchy is like a lie. It's crazy. It's all a lie. It's insane. But anyways, so that's the latest. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it in the comments below. This one ran way longer than I intended it on. Because once I get on here, if I don't have any meetings or anything scheduled for afterwards, I'm just like chilling on here for the most part. And then also, I somehow, I don't know, I don't have an 8 to 5 or anything. And somehow I feel like I don't have enough time in the day. I always end up like, dang, like, where did all my day go? I always end up feeling like I'm so busy during the day, even though, I don't have to, be at work or anything like that. Somehow my day just flies by, y'all. It just flies by. Anyways, y'all, so loved hanging out with you guys today. Keep track of the community section. And we will probably do another live tomorrow, podcast style. We'll cover some of these things. And leave it in the comments below. If you have any ideas or any thoughts, check out the YT, check out the Patreon. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.